Chapter 1221. Lu Xueyu had wantonly attacked the half-beast humans from other capital cities and even the purebred celestial fox. Who would have thought that in the blink of an eye, her right hand would be crippled? Lu Xueyu, who had always been considered the most likely candidate to be the saintess, was forced to withdraw halfway through the selection, leaving Feng City one less person. In the end, they could only find a last-minute half-beast human to replace her. When the news spread, people from other capital cities were waiting to laugh at Feng City. Chen Qi, who was prideful, felt even more humiliated when everyone stared at her with ridicule. "It's all your fault. A person like you shouldn't even be here." Chen Qi wanted nothing more than to chase Yunxing away, but she did not dare to disobey Elder Lu's orders. She had wanted to join forces with Lu Yunshuang to ostracize Yunxing, but she did not expect Lu Yunshuang to ignore her suggestion. "Stop arguing. The test has begun." Lu Yunshuang glanced at the square. A celestial fox elder had already appeared in the middle of the square. The first round of the test, the bloodline test, had officially begun. The one presiding over the first round of the test was Elder Jiao of the Council of Elders. He was a middle-aged man with no facial hair. "Silence. The bloodline test will begin immediately. Celestial Fox Saintess candidates from the 10 capital cities, please form a group and participate in the test separately." Elder Jiao coughed a few times when he heard the commotion in the square. His dignified voice immediately spread throughout the square. Yunxing noticed that Hu City's 3 Celestial Fox Saintess candidates were standing at the front. Hu Linglong, whom she had met a few days ago, was among the 3 of them. She was dressed in a bright red sorcerer's robe like a fireball. She stood out in the crowd and attracted everyone's attention. Hu Linglong walked forward and greeted the 9th elder in a familiar manner. A crystal ball and a dagger were placed in front of Elder Jiao. The dagger looked like it was carved out of jade, and the crystal ball looked no different from an ordinary crystal ball for testing magic. Hu Linglong picked up the dagger and made a cut on her hand. There was no trace of blood on the dagger. Hu Linglong dripped the blood on her finger onto the crystal ball. The originally transparent crystal ball changed the moment Hu Linglong's blood dripped onto it. In the transparent crystal ball, a fiery red fox appeared. The fox's posture was graceful, giving off the same feeling as Hu Linglong. But the most eye-catching thing was the fiery red fox's 5 fluffy fox tails that resembled fire. 5-tailed, Hu Linglong really is a 5-tailed celestial fox. Everyone began to discuss. As the daughter of Hu Qi Qiansui, Hu Linglong and the patriarch Hu Qiansui were of the same origin. The fact that she was a 5-tailed celestial fox was also within everyone's expectations. Soon, the 5-tailed fox in the crystal ball disappeared. The 5-tailed celestial fox was already a very high-level existence among all celestial fox bloodlines. Hu Linglong walked down like a proud peacock. After Hu Linglong's test, the other celestial fox saintess candidates looked at her with envy and jealousy. Everyone knew that Hu Linglong was the most promising candidate among the celestial fox saintess candidates this time. There were even people who said that this saintess selection ceremony was just a formality. No matter the result, Hu Linglong would become the saintess. While the second saintess went up to take the test, Yunxing asked Lu Yunshuang in a low voice, "Are there other celestial foxes above 6-tailed? For example, 7-tailed and 8-tailed? The more tails you have, the more powerful you are?" Lu Yunshuang gave her a strange look, as if she found it strange that as a heavenly fox, she did not even know such basic knowledge. Among the bloodlines, 6-tailed is already the highest. Even the current chief of the celestial fox people was only a 6-tailed celestial fox back then. Further up, there are 7-tailed and 8-tailed, but that is not because of the bloodline. Instead, it is because of the additional fox tails that are produced when one's cultivation level increases, Lu Yunshuang explained with a cold face. The more fox tails one had, the more powerful one was, but the greater one's potential. This was because every additional tail meant that one could learn another celestial fox legacy. Lu Yunshuang saw how powerful Yunxing was and thought that she would at least know this. Who knew that Yunxing was not aware of this at all? The more fox tails one had, the more celestial fox legacies one could learn? When Yunxing heard this, her frown, which she had been frowning because of the celestial fox bloodline test, suddenly relaxed. Does that mean that if a celestial fox learns multiple celestial fox legacies, how many celestial fox tails is she? Yunxing had previously comprehended 2 celestial fox legacies. In addition to the Yama's fox claw and fox's traceless shadow that she had learned later, she now had a total of 4 celestial fox legacies. Yunxing was a little worried that she would not even pass the first round of the test because she did not know the level of her bloodline. After Lu Yunshuang finished speaking, she looked away. Yunxing breathed a sigh of relief. If that was the case, the worst she could do was to be a four-tailed celestial fox. At least she could escape the misfortune of being eliminated in the first round. However, Yunxing immediately thought of another problem. Does that mean that after a four-tailed celestial fox has learned 4 celestial fox legacies, she will not be able to learn other legacies? Yunxing asked again. In theory, yes. If it were not for the fact that she and Yunxing had already become allies, Lu Yunshuang would not have bothered to ask Yunxing such pointless questions. Yunxing wailed in her heart. If she had known this would happen, she would not have learned 4 legacies so casually. If she really was a four-tailed celestial fox, did that not mean that she would not be able to learn other celestial fox legacies? It was not that Yunxing's legacies were bad, but that there was no harm in having more skills. One more legacy was a promise. However, if the other celestial fox saintesses heard Yunxing's thoughts, they would probably vomit blood in anger. Heaven knew that most people would find it difficult to learn just one celestial fox legacy, but Yunxing could do it as easily as drinking water and eating rice. It would inevitably make people feel unbalanced. However, there are exceptions. For example, when your strength increases and the number of foxtails increases, you can naturally learn one more legacy. Lu Yunshuang could not help adding when she saw Yunxing's ugly expression. At this point, there was a sudden uproar in the square. What a shameless thing. How dare she participate in the test like this? Yunxing and Lu Yunshuang looked ahead. They saw Elder Jiao angrily reprimanding a celestial fox saintess candidate. That candidate was a tall and voluptuous young celestial fox. At this moment, she was trembling and she was still holding the dagger in her hand. Yunxing could clearly see that the jade dagger was glowing red. Earlier, when several celestial fox saintess candidates, including Hu Linglong, cut their hands with the dagger, their blood did not touch the dagger. However, the moment the blood of this young celestial fox came into contact with the dagger changed. Chapter 12:22. Only now did Yunxing realize that the dagger placed next to the crystal ball was not an ordinary dagger. This was a special dagger called the Chastity Dagger. It was made from the soul stone of a very special magic beast in the Ba Huang continent, the Chastity Gecko. The Chastity Dagger was specifically used to test whether a woman was a virgin or not. If a woman's chastity was still intact, when her blood stained the dagger would not change. However, if a woman lost her chastity, the dagger would suck the blood of the woman who had lost her chastity, and the dagger would turn red. One of the requirements for the celestial fox saintess candidate was to be a virgin. This celestial fox saintess candidate had obviously had illicit relations with others. The celestial fox saintess is the symbol of the celestial fox tribe. You actually dared to conceal the truth. Someone come, break her tendons and strip her of her identity as a celestial fox. Also, expel all blood relatives within 3 generations from the tribe. The 9th elder flew into a rage. This celestial fox saintess selection was to choose a wife for the 9 Phoenix tribe's young clan leader. This damned woman actually participated with an impure body. If this matter was known by the 9 Phoenix tribe, who knew what kind of storm it would cause? 9th elder, please spare my life. When the celestial fox saintess candidate heard this, her entire body was paralyzed. From the noble status of the celestial fox to being expelled from the tribe, she and her family were finished. No one paid attention to the woman's mournful pleas. Her tendons were broken and she was dragged out with blood all over her body. In the square, everyone's eyes were cold. In the Ba Huang continent, the weak were not worthy of sympathy. After a few more rounds of testing, there were no more unchaste celestial fox saintess candidates. However, there were a few celestial fox half-beast men that did not reach the level of celestial fox half-beast men. The eliminated saintess candidates could only dejectedly leave the square. When it was Feng Du's turn, the first one to step forward was Qin Qi. After a test, her bloodline was found to be four-tailed. Among all the celestial fox bloodlines, her bloodline was not bad. The frost fox and Lu Yunshuang walked up to him. Her blood dripped onto the crystal ball, and the crystal ball instantly emitted a blue light. In the crystal ball, it was as if it was snowing. A pure white snow fox appeared in front of everyone. Behind the snow fox there were 5 tails. 5-tailed celestial fox, as expected of the ice fox clan with a rare bloodline. The 9th elder looked at the completely white ice fox and nodded approvingly. Lu Yunshuang's face remained as cold as ice in the face of praise. When it was Yunxing's turn, the 9th elder raised his head and saw Yunxing, who was wearing a veil. He frowned and then saw Yunxing's foxtail and fox ears. A half-orc that hasn't even shed its fox form? Feng Du was being too perfunctory. If not for Elder Lu's earlier instructions, he would have directly asked this half-orc to scram. Let's begin. The ninth elder's tone was not very pleasant. Yun Xing did not pay attention to the ninth elder. She took the chastity dagger and shook the tip of the dagger. A drop of blood fell onto the crystal ball. Blood dripped onto the crystal ball. Qin Chi, Qin Yu, and the others all looked over with mocking expressions. The other celestial fox saintess candidates also looked like they were waiting to watch a good show. The blood lingered on the surface of the crystal ball for a moment, but the crystal ball did not react. Don't tell me you're not a celestial fox? The ninth elder stood up and looked at the crystal ball suspiciously. However, even if she was not a celestial fox, this test crystal ball should still be able to reveal Yun Sheng's beast form. Unless she was not a beast at all but a human. Ridiculous, a human dared to participate in the celestial fox saintess selection. This discovery was even worse than the discovery of the celestial fox girl who had lost her virginity. Someone come. The ninth elder was furious and slammed his palm on the table. The round crystal ball almost fell off the table. At this moment, the crystal ball suddenly emitted a blazing white light. Everyone only saw a dazzling white light in front of them. The entire square was bathed in a white light that was like the moonlight. The ninth elder covered his eyes. A celestial fox appeared in the crystal ball. That celestial fox was exceptionally beautiful. It had a noble posture and was covered in silk-like silver fox fur. Its 4 hooves were also shining with a golden light. There was not a trace of fat on its body. Every bone was well proportioned. The most shocking thing was that the celestial fox had 6 tails on its back. Six tails. The ninth elder ignored the piercing light in his eyes. He leaned forward and grabbed the crystal ball tightly. He stuttered and looked at the 6-tailed celestial fox in the crystal ball in disbelief. The square was also dead silent. Those who had mocked Yun Sheng's identity as a half-beast human had all become mute. As for the ordinary citizens of Hu City, they looked at the masked woman with reverence. The fox tails and fox ears on her body seemed to have disappeared. The celestial fox's black eyes were as dark as the night sky. It looked at the people in the square proudly. Yun Sheng was also surprised. She thought that with her mixed celestial fox bloodline, she would at most have 4 or 5 tails. She did not expect that she had 6 tails. In the crystal ball, the silver-white celestial fox winked at Yun Sheng. Its expression was very similar to Yun Sheng's usual expression. How can it be? That be, the word be *starred, was stuck in her throat like a fish bone. She could not spit it out. Qin Yu opened her mouth. She was only a 3-tailed celestial fox. She was not qualified to call Yun Sheng a be *starred at this time. Hua Yin Luo and Feng Lian had complicated expressions. Although they were surprised by Yun Sheng's bloodline, they were not too shocked. It was a pity that Yun Sheng was now representing Feng Du in the competition. The competition in the following competition would be more intense. You are Yun Sheng from Feng Du, a 6-tailed celestial fox. Not bad, not bad. The ninth elder's eyes lit up. It had been many years since a 6-tailed celestial fox had appeared in the celestial fox tribe. So what if she is a 6-tailed fox? That good-for-nothing was also a 6-tailed fox. Yun Sheng was found to be a 6-tailed fox. Hu Linglong was the most depressed. She looked at the crystal ball with jealousy and hatred. She wanted to crush the crystal ball. Hu Linglong hated foxtails the most. In fact, when Hu Linglong was just born, she had been tested for her celestial fox bloodline. At that time, the previous celestial fox saintess had just passed away. The celestial fox tribe conducted a small test among several of the noblest newborn celestial fox girls. When the test results came out, Hu Linglong was a 5-tailed fox. At that time, Hu Qinsui wanted to fight for her to become the celestial fox saintess. But in the end, Hu Qinshu brought Hu Sheng, who was born an hour earlier than Hu Linglong. Hu Sheng was also found to be a 6-tailed celestial fox at that time. Hu Sheng was the only celestial fox to be found to be a 6-tailed celestial fox in more than 20 years. From then on, Hu Sheng naturally became the celestial fox saintess. He was also known as the most talented celestial fox after Hu Qinshu. Chapter 12:23. However, the good times did not last long. Hu Sheng gradually grew up, and when she was 6 years old, she participated in the celestial fox tribe's test. Whether it was Do Chi or magic, she actually knew nothing about them. From heaven to hell, Hu Sheng also went from a proud daughter of heaven to a trash that was laughed at by others. A celestial fox with the noblest bloodline of a celestial fox, who actually did not know any magic or Do Chi. Even her father, Hu Qianqiu, neglected her because of this. If not for the great witch doctor of the celestial fox tribe who supported Hu Sheng would have been abolished long ago. However, it was also from then on that Hu Sheng's character became increasingly autistic, and finally became the joke of the entire celestial fox tribe. Hearing Hu Linglong's words, the ninth elder and the spectators in the square, who were originally immersed in the joy of a six-tailed celestial fox, also recalled. That's right, the previous celestial fox, Hu Sheng, was also a six-tailed celestial fox. It was only because she was really too useless that everyone had already forgotten that she was originally a six-tailed celestial fox. In any case, the results of the first round of tests were still good. The next few rounds of tests would ultimately determine who was the most suitable to be the celestial fox saintess. However, this time, it would not be like the last time, where a useless celestial fox saintess was chosen. After Plentiful City, there were only 2 capital cities left. 6 celestial fox women of different figures and appearances came forward, and one by one they were tested. The first 4 people's test results were mostly normal. They were 3-tailed and 4-tailed respectively. There were no more cases of losing one's chastity or higher bloodlines above 5-tailed. At this time, a yellow-clothed woman came forward, wearing a bamboo hat. The ninth elder was somewhat dissatisfied. Earlier, when Yun Xing wore a veil, the ninth elder wanted to reprimand her, but he did not say it out of consideration for Elder Lu. This woman was even more outrageous, directly wearing a bamboo hat. The yellow-clothed woman seemed to know that she had angered the ninth elder. She gently took off her bamboo hat, revealing a face that was like a peach blossom in spring. However, at that moment, no one was paying attention to the woman's face. Including Elder Jiu, everyone was staring at the yellow-clothed woman's eyes. It was a pair of indescribable eyes. One eye was blue while the other was green. This commoner is Yu Shang from Yudu. The woman's voice was also very pleasant to the ears. She raised her snow-white hand and picked up the dagger, wiping it across her hand. Dazzling red blood rolled onto the crystal ball. The crystal ball shone with a dazzling yellow light, and a yellow heavenly fox appeared within it. Heavens, it's six-tailed again. When he saw the yellow celestial fox, the ninth elder couldn't help but rub his eyes. This was because there was also a six-tailed celestial fox in the crystal ball. How was this possible? The six-tailed celestial fox, which hadn't appeared for over 20 years, actually appeared among the candidates for the celestial fox saintess this time. Hu Linglong bit her lower lip hard, almost tasting blood. Yudu Yushang, when did such a person appear in Yudu? This person called Yushang was obviously not someone to be trifled with. Her dual-colored eyes and the temperament that made all men look askance made Hu Linglong feel a strong sense of danger. In comparison, the half-beastman fox girl from Fengdu was nothing. Yudu? Yun Sheng revealed a look of curiosity. She was not familiar with the few capitals of the celestial fox tribal country. Looks like Yudu is going to make a comeback this time. Yudu is the poorest among the 10 capitals of the celestial fox tribal country, Qin Chi said angrily, looking at the crystal ball enviously. She had thought that 5-tailed celestial fox girls like Hu Linglong and Lu Shuiyu were the most powerful candidates for the celestial fox saintess this time. Who would have thought that Yun Sheng and Yu Shang would appear out of nowhere? You're called Yu Shang, right? I remember that someone from Yudu mentioned you before? At that time you were only 5-tailed, right? The ninth elder was in charge of the registration for the celestial fox saintess this time. When he collected the information of all the saintess candidates, he had noted that there should be 4 5-tailed celestial fox girls. They were Hu Linglong, Lu Shuiyu, Lu Yunshuang, and Yudu Yushang. As for the half-beastman fox girl who appeared out of nowhere, Elder Lu's information did not state her exact bloodline. After all, Yun Sheng herself did not know what her bloodline was at that time. The information and test results of the other candidates all corresponded. Only Yu Shang went from 5-tailed to 6-tailed. For some people, the difference between 5-tailed and 6-tailed might be the difference between 1-tailed and 1-tailed. However, for the celestial fox tribe, especially the upper echelons of the tribal country, no one knew better than them that the difference between 5-tailed and 6-tailed was like heaven and earth. Of course, the prerequisite was that the other party was not a second Hu Sheng. How did Yu Shang become 6-tailed in just a few days' time? This was simply too inconceivable. The ninth elder also wanted to confirm whether Yu Shang had used any unfair means or tricks. When Yu Shang came to Hu City, she was still 5-tailed. However, Yu Shang broke through the day before yesterday. Yu Shang's eyes were full of affection, and her strange eyes had an indescribable charm. Even the ninth elder, a purebred celestial fox, could not help but feel his heart skip a beat. she broke through to six-tailed on her own. Such an answer caused another uproar. That was even more incredible. Being able to break through from five-tailed to six-tailed at such a young age was already very impressive. Moreover, this indirectly showed that Yu Shang's strength was very strong. The commotion caused by Yu Shang quickly overshadowed the earlier commotion caused by Yun Sheng's six-tailed celestial fox test. After the first round of tests, a total of 26 out of 30 Saintess candidates from the 10 capitals of the celestial fox tribal country remained. The 9th elder was quite satisfied with this result. Congratulations to all of you for passing the first round of tests. Tomorrow the second round of tests will begin. I believe that all of you already know that the Celestial Fox Saintess selection is divided into 3 rounds. The first round is the bloodline test, the second round is the written test, and the third round is the combat test, the 9th elder announced to the crowd. In order to avoid a situation like Hu Sheng's, the Celestial Fox Saintess selection this time was the strictest in terms of procedures and requirements. The bloodline test was something that all the Celestial Fox Saintess candidates already knew about when they signed up. It was also the easiest test to pass. The contents of the second round of the written test and the third round of the combat test had not been announced to the public. They would only be announced on the day of the competition. After the 9th elder emphasized the contents of the competition, he left the square with the test results. The people in the various capitals also dispersed. Before leaving, Hu Linglong glared at Yu Shang. Yu Shang was all smiles, but when she passed by Yun Sheng, she deliberately took a few more glances at her. There was an indescribable sense of provocation in that pair of bewitching eyes. Chapter 12:24. Yu Shang was also a very proud person. She had broken through to 6 tails on the eve of the competition and thought that she would be able to dominate the crowd. Who knew that another unknown person from Fengdu, Yun Sheng, would appear? That woman is not simple. Lu Yunshuang glanced at Yu Shang. It doesn't matter. As long as it's an open competition, there's no need to hide anything. Yun Sheng smiled faintly. She would let them see the truth in the upcoming competition. News of 2 six-tails appearing in the first round of the Celestial Fox Saintess test spread throughout the entire Hu capital in less than 2 hours. After Hu Linglong returned home, her face was gloomy and extremely irritated. Even her personal maidservants suffered a calamity. Linglong, I heard that 2 six-tails appeared in today's competition? Is this true? Hu Qiansui entered the house. Yes, 2 women from Fengdu and Yudu. I don't know if the test is accurate. Let's not talk about that seductive Yu Shang. That woman from Fengdu even retained her half-beast form. If Elder Jiao had not been present, Hu Linglong would have questioned it on the spot. I don't think it's fake. I heard that Elder Lu found that half-beast from somewhere. It said that she's a half-beast without a family. Earlier that woman even injured Lu Shuiyu. If it weren't for her high value and Elder Lu's personality, he wouldn't have allowed her to represent Fengdu in the competition. However, the one you really need to worry about is that woman called Yu Shang. Hu Qiansui's expression became more serious when he mentioned Yu Shang. Why, father? What's so great about that Yu Shang? She's just a 6-tails who just broke through. She's only slightly stronger than me at best, Hu Linglong said angrily. If she was given another year or 2, she could also break through to 6-tails. Don't be too confident. The content of the second round of the theory test is out. Hu Qiansui's expression was profound. The content of the competition for the Celestial Fox Saintess candidate was highly confidential. Hu Qiansui had put in a lot of effort to find out the details. This was definitely an advantage for Hu Linglong. Remember, this opportunity is not easy to come by. You have to be prepared before the others, Hu Qiansui reminded. Father, don't worry. This time your daughter will definitely not disappoint you. When Hu Linglong heard that all her previous worries were swept away, Hu Qiansui nodded his head in satisfaction. He recalled Elder Lu's smug expression at the Elders' Assembly today. He felt uncomfortable for a while. Not long after the Celestial Fox Saintess bloodline test ended, the 9th elder gave 2 copies of the test results to Patriarch Hu Qianxiu and the other elders. When Elder Lu saw the results of the test, his eyebrows twitched and he tried his best to hide the surprise in his eyes. Congratulations, Elder Lu. You found a good seedling this time. The other Celestial Fox elders congratulated Elder Lu. Elder Lu smiled awkwardly. He couldn't tell others that he didn't know that the half-beast human Celestial Fox he found was actually a 6-tailed Celestial Fox. Elder Lu, if this girl is chosen as the Celestial Fox Saintess, your Fengdu city will be strengthened. Hu Qiansui said at this time, reminding the other elders that Fengdu city was dominant and might even surpass Hudou city. Sure enough, after hearing this, the expressions of the other elders changed. Wuxiansui, this old fox. Elder Lu cursed in his heart. Elder Hu, why do you say that? No matter talent, strength or appearance, Miss Linglong is 1 in a million. What's more, there will be the civil and martial competition. It's hard to say who will be the saintess. Elder Lu said modestly. That's right. But what will be tested in the civil test? Wuxiansui said with a deep look. That depends on the result of the discussion between the chief, the witch doctor, and the first elder. Elder Lu smiled. Everyone, the competition of the theory test has been decided. For the sake of fairness, I have already given the content of the competition to the third elder. The content will not be announced until tomorrow at the competition venue. The first elder of the Celestial Fox Elders Guild walked in. In his hand, he was holding the content of the civil test discussed with the other 2 leaders of the Celestial Fox tribal nation. The third elder will be in charge? Elder Lu looked unhappy, but Wuxiansui was happy. The third elder and Elder Lu had always been at odds. They were on Wuxiansui's side. After the meeting, the elders all had their own thoughts. In contrast, the chief of the Celestial Fox people, Wuxianxiu, was much happier. Since his daughter Hu Sheng was judged to be a waste, he hadn't been so happy in a long time. After confirming the content of the civil test with the elders, he returned to the Celestial Fox Palace. The chief of the 9 Phoenix tribe was a guest in the Celestial Fox Palace these days. Qianxiu, congratulations. I heard that 2 six-tailed Celestial Fox appeared in the Celestial Fox tribe this time. It seems that the Celestial Fox tribal nation can make a comeback in this Bahuang tribe competition. Although the chief of the 9 Phoenix tribe didn't participate in the first round of the test, his eyes and ears were very smart. And he also heard from his subordinates that the half-beast woman he had taken a fancy to was actually a 6-tailed Celestial Fox. Thank you for your blessings. It's just a 6-tailed fox. How can it be compared to other tribes, especially a genius like the young Chief LV? Wuxianxiu was modest. Although Wuxianxiu was happy, he wasn't a blindly optimistic person. Although there were 2 6-tailed and 2 5-tailed, compared to the other saintesses and young chiefs of the Bakra Orcs, the candidates of the Celestial Fox tribe saintess, except for Hu Linglong, most of them weren't of noble birth. It was said that some of them didn't even have a clear background. Such a person, even if her talent was good, could not be compared to the other proud sons and daughters of the other tribes who had been baptized by the beast god altar since young and received the best resources. Even if the candidate was finally confirmed, she still needed to be properly trained and completely transformed into a saintess that could be used by the Celestial Fox tribe. Hee, we're going to be a family soon. There's no need to be so polite. The chief of the 9 Phoenix tribe chuckled. Chief. A Celestial Fox soldier came forward and whispered. Wuxianxiu's face that was full of smiles suddenly darkened. Old chief, there are some matters in the palace. Qianxiu will take his leave first. If you're interested, you can follow the third elder to the Celestial Fox temple to watch the theory test. Wuxianxiu hurriedly said a few words and left. In the Celestial Fox palace, several soldiers stopped a beautiful woman in white. I beg you, let me see the chief. The beautiful woman's appearance was elegant, but her expression was very haggard. She begged the soldiers bitterly, but no one paid attention to her. If Yunxing saw her, she would be very surprised. Because this woman's appearance was almost the same as her mother, Hu Jiuxing. Chapter 12:25. The woman's pleas did not gain any sympathy from the soldiers. Madam, please don't make things difficult for us. The chief is greeting an important guest. Seeing you like this, he will punish you again. The Celestial Fox soldiers coldly pushed the woman away. How dare you? How can you treat the chief's wife like this? The maid behind the woman scolded. It turned out that this woman who looked like Hu Jiuxing was actually the wife of the Celestial Fox people's chief, Hu Rulin. The Celestial Fox tribal nation did not have an emperor. The chief and elders were the highest rulers. The chief's wife's identity was equivalent to the queen of a nation. She should have a high position and power. However, this woman in front of them had no position in the Celestial Fox palace. All these years, Wuxianxiu had taken in a large number of Celestial Fox beauties into the palace and completely ignored this so-called chief's wife of the Celestial Fox people. The specific reason was that this chief's wife, who was once known as the #1 beauty of the Celestial Fox, gave birth to a trash daughter. After this trash daughter became the saintess, it was rumored that she was sold to the boundless land and lost her innocence. Although the chief had kept this matter under wraps, the Celestial Fox Palace had long spread the news. After the news spread, the chief's wife, who was not favored to begin with, was even less valued. Even some beauties who had just entered the palace dared to bully her. Hu Rulin missed her daughter and begged Hu Qianqiu many times to send people to the boundless land to search for her daughter's whereabouts. However, she was mercilessly rejected by Hu Qianqiu every time. That trash is not worth the tribe's manpower to search for her. Hu Rulin clearly remembered Hu Qianqiu's ruthless look. However, she still did not give up and would look for Hu Qianqiu every few days. Hu Rulin, are you done? If you were not tested as a five-tailed celestial fox, I would not have married you. Don't forget, in terms of status, you are just an orphan. Hu Qianqiu walked over with a cold face. Hu Rulin was an orphan. She was born in the wasteland and was adopted by the previous fox clan leader. She and Hu Qianqiu were childhood sweethearts. That year, Hu Qianqiu had chosen Hu Rulin out of countless women of marriageable age because she was beautiful, gentle, and had the bloodline of the five-tailed celestial fox. Hu Qianqiu was in love with her for a while, especially when she gave birth to the six-tailed celestial fox bloodline Hu Sheng. However, everything changed after Hu Sheng was found to be a good-for-nothing. Hu Qianqiu was the clan leader, but he had a useless daughter. This matter became Hu Qianqiu's biggest flaw. For nearly 20 years, he had been brooding over this matter. Who knows if it was because of that trash, but all these years, even though Hu Qianqiu had recruited countless beauties into his harem, but among his children, there wasn't a single high-grade celestial fox. Not to mention a six-tailed beast, he didn't even see a five-tailed beast. Hu Qianqiu attributed all these to Hu Sheng. In the first few months after Hu Sheng went missing, Hu Qianqiu was secretly delighted. That trash was finally gone. To him it was also a relief. But who knew that something like that would happen later on? That trash was actually sold to the boundless world. Although Hu Sheng was a trash, her appearance was the same as Hu Rulin, beautiful and outstanding. A celestial fox woman would only have one outcome if she fell into the hands of a man from the human race. So from the moment he knew that Hu Sheng was sold to the boundless world, Hu Qianqiu thought that his daughter was already dead. Qianqiu, I don't ask for anything else. I only ask that you send someone to find out about Hu Sheng's whereabouts. Yesterday I dreamt that Shenger said she was back. On Hu Rulin's face, tears rolled down like broken pearls. She had a weak personality. When the old clan leader was still around, there was still someone she could rely on. The old clan leader was afraid that she would be bullied, so he specially appointed Hu Qianqiu to take care of her. When the two of them just got married, everything was fine. But ever since her daughter Hu Sheng was determined to be trash, everything changed. Her beloved husband spoke coldly to her and took in many beauties. Hu Rulin didn't have any complaints. She just silently raised her daughter and relied on her for survival. In the Celestial Fox Palace, they lived peacefully for the rest of their lives. But her daughter suddenly went missing. To Hu Rulin, the entire sky collapsed. Her daughter went missing for a few years. She washed her face with tears every day. Hu Qianqiu said that her daughter was already dead. But last night, she dreamt that her daughter Hu Sheng was alive and standing in front of her. She was still the same as before, gently calling out, "Mother Shenger is back." Flesh and blood were connected to the heart. Hu Rulin firmly believed that her daughter wouldn't lie to her. She must have already returned. Dream on, Hu Rulin. You'd better give up. I won't send a single soldier to look for her. I really regret that I didn't kill her when I found out she was trash. Right now, the Nine Phoenix clan leader is a guest in the Celestial Fox Palace. Don't make trouble. Or else I'll chase you out of the palace. Hu Qianqiu viciously ordered people to escort Hu Rulin back to the palace. Hu Rulin looked at the huge palace, but her heart was cold. Hu Qianqiu had never truly cared about her and her daughter. Guizhi, help me pack my luggage. Perhaps because she cried too many times, Hu Rulin's eyes were dry. Not a single tear flowed out. She believed that she wouldn't have such a dream for no reason. Madam? What are you doing? Hu Rulin's maid was puzzled. I want to leave the Celestial Fox Palace. This is no longer a place for me. Hu Rulin smiled miserably. In Hu Qianqiu's heart, there was only the glory of being the leader of the Celestial Fox people. The Celestial Fox Saintess election was in full swing. He wouldn't care about his daughter, Hu Sheng. After leaving the Celestial Fox Palace, no matter if it was the Eight Desolates continent or the Boundless continent, even if she had to risk her life, she would find her daughter, Hu Sheng. That night, the master and maid packed their luggage and quietly left the Celestial Fox Palace. Standing outside a side door of the palace, Hu Rulin was a little timid. After she married Hu Qianqiu, she hadn't left the Celestial Fox Palace for decades. Hu Dou was no longer the Hu Dou of the past. For a moment she didn't know where to find her daughter, Hu Sheng. In her confusion, Hu Rulin could only lead her maid and wander around the streets of Hudou. It was already around the time when the lanterns were lit. The bustling streets of Hudou were filled with pedestrians. Due to the Celestial Fox Saintess selection ceremony, there were a lot of people coming in and out of Hudou during this period of time. Hu Rulin walked among the crowd. When she thought of her daughter in her dream last night, she felt sad. Unknowingly, she was separated from her maid, Guizhi. "Io, don't you have eyes? How dare you bump into me?" By the time Hu Rulin realized it, she was already on a completely unfamiliar street. In the midst of the crowd, she bumped into a fierce-looking man. Chapter 12:26. That person grabbed Hu Rulin and was about to swear. Just as he was about to curse, he suddenly saw a light in front of his eyes. Hu Rulin's appearance was one of the best in the Celestial Fox tribe. Otherwise Hu Qianqiu would not have married her. Although she was a mother now, her beauty was not any less than before. In the eyes of this passerby, she was like a celestial being. "Sorry, I was distracted for a moment." Hu Rulin stammered and anxiously looked around for the servant girl. However, the servant girl, Guizhi, was nowhere to be seen. It's okay. It's fate that we bumped into a beauty." The Celestial Fox people had a wretched look on his face and reached out to touch Hu Rulin's face. How dare you? Do you know who I am? I'm the tribe's." Hu Rulin had never been molested before. She was so scared that her face turned pale. She was about to reveal her identity. However, she thought about it again. Since she had left the Celestial Fox Palace, she was no longer the tribe leader's wife. Moreover, no one had seen her as the tribe leader's wife all these years. "Who are you? Beauty, why don't you tell me?" The Heavenly Fox clan member was considered to have some power in Hu City. Seeing Hu Rulin's beauty and the fact that she was alone, he had evil thoughts and wanted to snatch her back. Hu Rulin panicked and wanted to escape. However, she was surrounded by people. She stumbled like a headless fly. Help me." Hu Rulin called for help. However, the passers-by were indifferent. "Get out of the way. This woman is my servant girl. She stole money and ran away. No one is allowed to interfere." The Celestial Fox people laughed sinisterly like an eagle pouncing on a chick. "Stop!" Someone in the crowd shouted. 2 men and a woman walked out of the crowd. With their backs to the light, the Celestial Fox people could only see a tall figure. "Where did this brat come from? How dare you interfere in my business? Let me tell you, I'm the son of the second elder of the Elder Council." The Celestial Fox people shouted. "Even if it's Celestial Fox, an elder of the Council of Elders, she can't kidnap a civilian girl on the street. You said this woman is your maid. What is her name and what did she steal?" The leading man's voice was cold, and his body emitted a chilling aura. The Celestial Fox passerby was speechless. When Hu Rulin saw this person, it was as if she had seen her savior. She hurriedly said, "Young master, I am not their maid. My maid and I have just arrived in Hu City. Due to the crowded streets, we accidentally got separated." She looked up and met the eyes of the kind-hearted person who saw injustice. When Hu Rulin and the kind-hearted passerby saw each other's faces clearly, they were both astonished. Hu Rulin was astonished. It was this passerby who had an extraordinary appearance. Was a young man. He was not very old and his clothes were very low-key. However, from head to toe, he emitted an aristocratic temperament. Compared to the Celestial Fox people's leader, Qianqiu, he was even more handsome. When the young man looked at Hu Rulin's face, he was also somewhat unnatural. Young master. Yaoji, who was standing at the side, could not help but call out when she saw that the 2 people were looking at each other strangely. The young master had never paid any attention to the young women in the clan. Why was he stunned when he saw this married woman today? Could it be that the young master liked this kind of woman? Yaoji's expression was unfriendly. She looked at Hu Rulin a few more times and found that this fox woman was indeed very beautiful. No wonder she was bullied by the passerby with ulterior motives on the way. These 3 passers-by who were walking on the streets of Hu City and saw injustice were the young master of the 9 Phoenix clan, Lu, and his 2 subordinates, who had arrived in Hu City in disguise. In order to stop his grandfather from matchmaking, Lu had rushed all the way here. He had just arrived in Hu City in the evening. He had wanted to find an inn to rest, but he happened to meet this woman. It was just a moment of injustice. Little did he know that the woman in front of him looked somewhat similar to Yun Sheng. Especially that pair of black eyes. Lu was absent-minded for a moment. It was not until Hu Rulin was a little uncomfortable under his gaze that he realized that he had been rude. Lu had met Yun Xing twice in the Duqian blood realm and had a deep affection for her. It was also because of Yun Xing that he was so repulsed when his grandfather mentioned the marriage between the Nine Phoenix clan and the Celestial Fox clan in the past few years. Although he had long known that it was impossible for him and Yun Xing to be together, Lu still had a faint hope that perhaps he could meet Yun Xing again one day. Just now, he also felt that this woman's back view was somewhat similar to Yun Xing's, so he could not help but interfere. From the way this woman's hair was done, it was obvious that she was married. Although she was alone, her clothes and manner of speech showed that she was from a wealthy family. She was definitely not a maid or servant. Moreover, she was a celestial fox. Yun Xing was from the human race. She would never have anything to do with this woman in front of him. Where did this brat come from? Since when is it your turn to meddle in my business? The celestial fox passerby saw that the beauty had been snatched away and became even more annoyed. He was about to step forward and make trouble. The celestial fox passerby looked at Lu's travel-worn appearance and knew that he was not from the village at first glance. Moreover, he was young, so it was already obvious that he was easy to bully. Get out of my way. Don't get in my way. The celestial fox passerby reached out to grab Hu Rulin. She was so frightened that she hurriedly retreated behind Lu. Seeing that the celestial fox passerby was so rude, Lu's expression changed abruptly. He took a step forward. On the surging street, the passers-by within dozens of meters only felt an invisible pressure pressing down on them. The crowded crowd was forced to create a gap of more than a meter. Before the celestial fox passerby who intended to provoke him approached, he felt as if his chest had been hit by a hammer. Before he could even make a muffled sound, his whole body flew out like a kite with a broken string. After flying out, he fell limply to the ground and never got up again. He's dead. A nosy passerby went forward to take a look and found that the celestial fox passerby was like mud from head to toe. There was not a complete bone to be found. Such fierce strength. To be able to turn a purebred heavenly fox into meat paste with just one collision. Where exactly did this young man come from? The onlookers all took a few steps back in fright and looked at Lu in horror. Let's go. Lu turned around and was about to leave without a word. Wait a minute. Hu Rulin looked around and then looked at Lu and the other two who were about to leave. After being separated from Guizhi, she was penniless and did not even know where to go tonight. Woman, young master kindly saved you. Why are you still pestering him? Yaoji was not in a good mood. Young master, I have lost my luggage and money. Can you take me in for a few days? When I find a maid, I will return the money to you. Hu Rulin plucked up her courage. Chapter 12:27. Hu Rulin thought that she would be rejected. She did not expect that the cold-looking young man would agree to her request. Hu Ruolan thanked them profusely. She followed the three of them to an inn in the city and stayed there. After finding an inn, Yaoji and Grey Feather were puzzled. Young clan leader, how could you agree to that woman's request so rashly? We don't even know who she is. Yaoji was especially displeased. Before the young clan leader left, he had ordered the two of them to call him young master in public and not reveal his identity. But now, as soon as he turned around, he brought a woman to his side. Although the woman looked weak and incompetent, who knew if she was a wolf in sheep's clothing? After all, this was the Celestial Fox tribal country, so it was better to be cautious. She looks a little like an old friend of mine. Just do her a favor. Green did not know why he agreed to a request from a passerby. Apart from some similarities in appearance, the woman named Hu Rulin did not look like Yun Xing at all. Hu Rulin was like a fresh white jasmine, making people feel pity for her. Yun Xing, on the other hand, was like a thorny rose. Anyone who touched her would be covered in bruises and bruises. But it was precisely this kind of temperament that attracted Green's attention. Well, I'll keep her for a few days. Grey Feather, how's the investigation going? Green did not think so. He had secretly checked that Hu Rulin did not know fighting energy or magic, so she would not be in any danger. Young clan leader, I've inquired from the shopkeeper. The Celestial Fox Saintess ceremony has already gone through one round. I heard that there were 2 6-tailed celestial foxes and 2 5-tailed celestial foxes in the bloodline test today. Grey Feather peeked at the young clan leader's reaction when he said this. Not to mention the 5-tailed celestial fox, the celestial fox people must be overjoyed this time. There were even 2 6-tailed celestial foxes. The old patriarch must have heard the news, and his determination to marry Celestial Fox must have been even more resolute. So what if she's 6-tailed? If I don't want to marry her, it's useless even if she's 9-tailed. Green snorted. Yaoji watched from the side and was secretly delighted. It seemed that the young chieftain really hated the women of the Celestial Fox tribe. In addition, tomorrow the second round of the Celestial Fox Saintess ceremony will be held at the Celestial Fox Temple. Young Patriarch, do you want to take a look? Greyfeather asked. It's good to have a look. I want to see what kind of people the Celestial Fox Saintess selection has produced. Green decided to go to the Celestial Fox Shrine tomorrow morning to have a look. After staying at the inn, Hurulin calmed down a little. She also knew that she had only met Lu by chance. Even if she did not find Guizhi, she could not continue to follow Lu and the others. It was just that in the vast sea of people, she did not know where to find her daughter. Sheng, you must bless me and give me some hints as to where I can find you. Hurulin sighed. She lay on the bed and closed her eyes. Hurulin softly chanted. At this moment, a very weak fluctuation appeared on her body. The fluctuation formed a milky white light mist on Hurulin's body. In the light mist, Hurulin fell into a deep sleep. This light mist was not an ordinary mist. It was a special kind of inheritance that was triggered after Hurulin used her own Celestial Fox inheritance. Hurulin was a Celestial Fox. The Fox Elder had tested her long ago and found that she did not have any fighting energy or magic talent. However, Hurulin had an inheritance that was different from the other Celestial Fox inheritances. It was this inheritance that made the old patriarch of the Fox tribe think highly of Hurulin. That was, Hurulin could use dreams to predict the future. This inheritance was called foresight. Therefore, after Hurulin had that dream last night, she hoped that Hu Qinxiu could find her daughter, Hu Sheng, because she knew that her daughter, Hu Sheng, must have returned to the 8 wastelands. In the dream, Hurulin saw a person in front of her. Shenger. Hurulin called out. Hu Sheng, who was in front of her, did not respond. She just walked forward slowly. She watched as her daughter walked faster and faster until she finally disappeared into a speck of light. Sheng, turn around and look at me. Hurulin called out, but Hu Sheng refused to turn around. Hurulin sat up in shock. She looked outside and saw that the sky was already bright. In the dream, why was her daughter walking further and further away? A sense of uneasiness grew wildly like weeds. Hurulin rubbed her temples and suddenly remembered. In the dream just now, she seemed to have seen the scene where her daughter was at somewhere before. Celestial Fox Temple. That is the Celestial Fox Temple of the Celestial Fox tribe. When Hurulin and Hu Qinxiu got married, the place where they held the Celestial Fox wedding was at the Celestial Fox Temple. Hurulin remembered that there was a Celestial Fox statue in the Celestial Fox Temple. In the dream she could vaguely see the Celestial Fox statue. Could it be that Shenger is reminding me to go to the Celestial Fox Temple to find her in the dream? Hurulin muttered to herself. She had no clue at this time. Since there was a clue in the dream, she would not let it go. Hurulin decided to go to the Celestial Fox Temple today. She hurriedly got up. Just as she walked out of the door, she saw Lu Yaoji and the others who were also about to go out. You are also going out? Hurulin already knew last night that the kind young man who saved her was called Lu. He came from the 9 Yuan tribe and came to Hu City to do business. Hurulin had a good impression of Lu. This young man not only had a good appearance and temperament, but he was also very polite to people. He was the type of man that every mother would be assured to introduce to their daughters. Lu was also very generous. After learning about Hurulin's predicament, he had already paid for her room for 10 days. Rulin could walk around freely during this period and look for her maidservant. Madam Rulin, we heard that the Celestial Fox Temple in the city is holding the Celestial Fox Saintess Selection Competition. We plan to go and watch the Celestial Fox Saintess Selection Competition, Lu said in a friendly manner. Saintess Selection Competition? Hearing this, Hurulin was a little absent-minded. She had almost forgotten that the most lively thing in the city was the Celestial Fox Saintess Selection Competition. In order to establish a relationship with the 9 Yuan tribe, Hu Qinxiu and the Council of Elders were very concerned about the Celestial Fox Saintess Selection Competition. That man did not care about his daughter's safety. Instead, he tried his best to find a saintess to replace his daughter in order to curry favor with other tribes. Hurulin's heart was filled with sorrow. Young Master Lu, I also want to go to the Celestial Fox Temple to watch the fun. Can you take me with you? Hurulin forced a smile. Yaoji was a little unhappy and was about to make things difficult for her. To be honest, young master, I came to Hu City this time to look for my daughter. She also came to participate in the Celestial Fox Saintess Selection Competition. Hurulin was afraid that they would refuse, so she lied. I see. In that case, let's go together. After all, the Celestial Fox Temple is a public place. Anyone can go and watch. Lu did not mind. Thus, he brought Hu Rulin to the Celestial Fox Temple. Chapter 1228. The Duqian Fox Temple was an important place in the Celestial Fox tribal nation. In modern times, it was similar to a temple with the most incense. Once a heavenly fox was born in Hudu, its parents and clan would pray for blessings. When a celestial fox died, she would also be cremated at the Celestial Fox Temple. Even celestial fox from other cities would go to the Celestial Fox Temple to burn incense and worship their ancestors when they arrived at Hu City. The news of the second round of the Celestial Fox Saintess selection ceremony, the theory test, was held at the Celestial Fox Temple. The next day, the crowd that came to the Celestial Fox Temple to spectate almost flattened the stone steps of the Celestial Fox Temple. When the third elder, who was in charge of hosting the second round of the theory test, saw the situation, he had no choice but to deploy 3,000 Celestial Fox soldiers to block the crowd outside. After resting for a night, Yun Sheng stepped into the Celestial Fox Temple. What greeted him was a series of antique buildings, pavilions, terraces, and pagodas. Between the buildings there was a large pool of green water. The pond was sparkling, and in the middle was an ivory statue that was almost 100 meters tall. The statue was lifelike and it was a celestial fox. Behind it were 8 shocking tails. Anyone who had been to the Duqian Fox Temple would know that this statue was built by the people of the Celestial Fox tribal nation to commemorate the strongest Celestial Fox people in the history of the Celestial Fox people, Hu Yen. Back then, when the humans of the Boundless Continent and the Bakra orcs clashed, Celestial Fox Hu Yen and the chief of the Black Chilan tribe, Yi Xiu, sacrificed their lives to stop the humans from the 8 barren lands. They helped the Bakra orcs escape to the 8 barren lands and preserve their bloodline, making an indelible contribution. It was just a pity that in the end, Hu Yen died in battle in the boundless world. Even the Celestial Fox relic's whereabouts were unknown. The written exam this time was held by the pond under the statue of Celestial Fox people Jianghu Yen. A large number of Celestial Fox soldiers blocked the crowd a kilometer away from the pond. More than 20 saintesses from the 10 capital cities gathered by the pond. Lu, Hu Rulin, and the others had just arrived. Although the crowd was densely packed, the gray feather guard had a cold expression on his face. When he swept his gaze over the crowd, the people beside him were so scared that they immediately took a few steps back. Lu and Hu Rulin easily arrived in front of them. His green eyes turned and swept across the 20 or so saintess candidates in Celestial Fox's group. Noticing that Hu Linglong was among them, Green's eyes flashed with unconcealable disgust. As expected, that woman was also there. Hu Rulin saw that the Celestial Fox Saintess candidates were all gorgeously dressed. Thinking that her daughter's life was unknown at this time, she felt a burst of bitterness in her heart. They're all coquettish women. I really don't know what the old patriarch sees in them. Yaoji pouted disdainfully. At this moment, Yaoji's gaze changed. She noticed a particularly eye-catching masked woman in the crowd. Why is she here? Yaoji was naturally referring to Yun Sheng. Among these Celestial Fox Saintesses, only Yun Sheng was masked. Therefore, when Yaoji mentioned her, the others also noticed her. That person is the female doctor in Songdu. She was the one who got in our way earlier. Yaoji had always been brooding about Yun Sheng. She was clearly a female doctor in Songdu. How did she suddenly become a saintess candidate? There must be something strange in this. Is this the woman you said could summon the subdivine beast? Lu could not help but pay more attention to the masked woman. Unfortunately, the crowd was too far away. He could barely see her back. Silence. Third elder held a box in his hand with a solemn expression. He led more than 20 Celestial Fox Saintess candidates and bowed respectfully to the fox statue of Patriarch Hu Yen. Ladies and gentlemen, as you all know, the Celestial Fox Saintess represents the Celestial Fox clan. Not only is she of noble lineage, but she is also good at both civil and martial arts. After an overnight discussion between the Patriarch, the Council of Elders, and the Great Witch Doctor, the content of the culture test for the Celestial Fox Saintess selection has been confirmed. It is in this box in my hand. Third elder said with conviction. The eyes of more than 20 candidates lit up. They stared at the box with shining eyes. Hu Linglong looked at the box with a hint of joy at the corner of her mouth. This time even God was on her side. The content of the culture test is related to Patriarch Hu Yen of the Celestial Fox people. You will need to learn Patriarch Hu Yan's famous witchcraft, the corpse puppet technique, in 1 hour. As soon as third elder finished speaking, the crowd became restless. Corpse puppet technique. As soon as these three words were mentioned, the Celestial Fox clan became restless. Even the expressions of more than 20 candidates changed slightly. The corpse puppet technique was said to be the unique sorcery technique of the clan leader of the Heavenly Fox clan, Hu Yen. Back then, she had used this sorcery technique to make the pursuers of the human clan change sides at the last moment of the war between the human clan and the beast clan in the Boundless Continent, thus delaying the human clan's progress. Regarding this witchcraft skill, the upper echelons of the Celestial Fox tribal nation had always regarded it as a treasure. They worshipped and preserved it. In the Celestial Fox tribal nation, there were only a handful of people who knew the corpse puppet technique. They did not expect that this Celestial Fox Saintess selection ceremony would include the corpse puppet technique as the content of the culture test. For the more than 20 candidates of the Celestial Fox clan, this had both advantages and disadvantages. The advantage was that even if they were not selected in the end, they would still learn the corpse puppet technique. For them, even if they were not selected and returned to the capital city, their status in their respective cities or clans would be greatly improved. The disadvantage was that since the corpse puppet technique was one of the witchcraft skills that made Patriarch Hu Yen of the Celestial Fox people famous, it was no ordinary witchcraft skill. In just 2 short hours, it was practically impossible for him to learn and apply the technique. As soon as Third Elder finished speaking, more than 20 meditation magic arrays floated above the open pond. A scroll was placed in each magic array. In the next 1 hour, these candidates of the Saintess would meditate in the magic arrays and comprehend the corpse puppet technique. It was the corpse puppet technique? Without batting an eyelid, Yun Xing chose one of the magic arrays and walked over. She noticed that Hu Linglong could not hide the smile on her face. As for Yu Shang and Lu Yunshuang, their expressions were very calm. The more than 20 candidates of the Celestial Fox Saintess opened the scroll as soon as they entered the magic array. What's this? Yun Xing frowned. The ancient characters of Celestial Fox were written on the scroll. The candidates of the Celestial Fox Saintess had also opened their scrolls. Some people could not help but grumble softly when they saw the ancient characters of Celestial Fox. The ancient characters of Celestial Fox were recorded in an ancient language. In today's Celestial Fox clan, only those purebred Celestial Fox clans with ancient family roots and some nobles would learn it. It was impossible for ordinary Celestial Fox hybrids to learn the ancient characters of Celestial Fox. More than 30% of the candidates of the Celestial Fox Saintess this time were Celestial Fox hybrids. One could imagine how many candidates of the Saintess were stumped by the ancient characters of the corpse puppet technique. As expected, they were discriminating against Celestial Fox hybrids. However, I'm afraid I'll have to disappoint you again this time. Yun Xing sneered in her heart. Chapter 1229. 1 hour was a very limited time. No matter how difficult the scroll was, the 20 or so Celestial Fox Saintess candidates had no choice but to study it. Light flickered in the meditation magic array. The Celestial Fox girls in the magic array were all as beautiful as a painting. Such scenery reflected in the blue sky and clear water was a unique sight. Hu Linglong could be said to be the most relaxed among all of them. Last night, she had already learned about the contents of the theory examination from her father, Hu Chensui. Third Elder was a well-known conservative in the Celestial Fox tribal nation. In his opinion, it was a disgrace to let a Celestial Fox mixed blood become a Celestial Fox Saintess. Therefore he set up an additional obstacle and copied all the corpse puppet technique into the ancient Celestial Fox language. I'd like to see what that Celestial Fox B***starred who came out of nowhere can do this time. Recalling the 6-tailed Celestial Fox that appeared in the crystal ball yesterday, Hu Linglong's heart was filled with jealousy. The theory examination this time would not be a problem for those two, would it? Hu Linglong's seductive eyes fell on the magic array where Yu Shang and Lu Yunshuang were. The two girls were reading the scroll seriously and mumbling something under their breath. However, no matter how good they were, they could not catch up to her. Hu Linglong's lips curled up. Hu Linglong had learned the basics of ancient witchcraft like the corpse puppet technique when she was young. Now that she had learned it, it was much easier for her to learn compared to the average person. 1 hour passed quickly. More than 20 Celestial Fox Saintess candidates walked out of the magic array. Except for a few specific people, most of them had a nervous look on their faces. Time's up. Everyone recite the contents of the corpse puppet technique. Those who recite more than half of it will advance to the next round, Third Elder said. The 3 girls from Tsangdu were the first to go. The first to go was Hua Yanluo. She recited about 80% of the content and successfully advanced to the next round. Feng Lian and Qin Yu had some trouble reciting, but they managed to recite about 50% of the words and successfully entered the second half of the round. The next few saintesses from the capital cities were not so lucky. Among them, several of them were mixed-race heavenly foxes. Among the 9 of them, 4 of them were eliminated because they could not recite more than 50% of the scripture. When it was Hu Linglong's turn, she walked up. Her voice was clear and melodious like jade beads rolling on a jade plate. Without missing a single word, she completely memorized the entire corpse puppet art. Miss Linglong is indeed talented and intelligent. Third elder nodded his head in praise. Humph! Qin Shi snorted with a look of disdain. She was certain that Hu Linglong had cheated. The few purebred celestial fox from Hudou also successfully passed. You go up first. When it was the turn of the few celestial fox saintess candidates from Fengdu, Qin Shi gave Yun Sheng a push. She looked like she was waiting to watch a good show. Yun Sheng was a celestial fox hybrid. It was impossible for her to have learned the ancient celestial fox characters. She had attracted a lot of attention when she was found to be six-tailed. This time, it was her turn to make a fool of herself. It would be best if she was eliminated as well. Yun Sheng shrugged non-committally and walked up. She began to recite the scripture. She continued until she was done. What the hell is that bastard reciting? She didn't get a single word right. How embarrassing. Qin Yu could not help but laugh when she heard Yun Sheng finish reciting. Hu Linglong was amused at first, but then she felt that something was amiss. This is... Third elder hesitated. Good memory, Lu Yunshuang said calmly from the side. Looks like you beat me to it. Yu Shang sighed with some regret. What was that female physician doing? Yaoji and Huiyu had good hearing. They listened while Yun Sheng recited the scripture in a mess. That girl is really interesting. She recited the corpse puppet technique backwards. Hu Rulin covered her mouth and chuckled. Lu nodded as well. She had a better impression of that female physician. You recited the corpse puppet technique backwards? The third elder had also heard that one of the popular six-tailed celestial foxes this time was a low-grade mixed blood. He had received Hu Qianxiu's instructions and planned to use the corpse puppet technique copied in ancient characters to make things difficult for this six-tailed hybrid. He did not expect her to really recite the corpse puppet technique backwards within an hour. Third elder only said to recite it. He didn't say whether I had to recite it in order or backwards. Yun Sheng smiled. She must have hit the jackpot. If today's competition had been any other type of celestial fox witchcraft recorded in ancient characters, she would have admitted defeat. Yun Sheng did not recognize any of the ancient characters in celestial fox. However, Yun Sheng had already learned the corpse puppet technique in the celestial fox tomb. When she thought of this, Yun Sheng could not help but glance at the statue of the celestial fox people Jianghu Yan. Could all this be because Jianghu Yan was protecting her? Thus, Yun Sheng also successfully passed the test. The first half of the test was quickly completed. Lu Yunshuang and Yu Shang also passed without a hitch. Several of the 20-odd celestial fox saintess candidates were eliminated after the recitation round. Only 20 candidates were left. Witchcraft skills focus on application. In the first half of the test, you've already competed on memory. In the second half, you'll be competing on application. The corpse puppet technique is a unique witchcraft that can control people's souls. In the time it takes to burn a stick of incense, whoever can control the most people will win. If they can't control even one person, they'll be eliminated. The winner who hypnotizes the most people will have the right to go first in the next round of the Wushu test. After the third elder finished speaking, he clapped his hands, and 100 heavenly fox soldiers stepped out of their ranks. These celestial fox soldiers were all carefully selected by third elder. They were all elites among celestial fox soldiers who had experienced the battlefield. Compared to the average celestial fox soldier, their willpower was also stronger, making it difficult for them to be bewitched. Among the 20 celestial fox saintess candidates who had just learned the corpse puppet technique, more than 80% of them were reluctant to use it to hypnotize 100 celestial fox soldiers. Lu Yu of Quandu eliminated. After the time it takes to burn a stick of incense, none of the celestial fox saintess candidates were successfully hypnotized. Wang Chang of Quandu eliminated. As time passed, more and more people were eliminated. The corpse puppet technique is not something that just anyone can learn, third elder thought to himself as he watched. It was now Hua Yanlua's turn. Before her, only one celestial fox saintess candidate managed to hypnotize a person and successfully passed the written test. Hua Yanluo took a deep breath and activated her celestial fox inheritance, Fox Shadow Traceless. Beside her, a Hua Yanluo, that looked exactly like her appeared, using a celestial fox clone to use the corpse puppet technique together. This girl is quite clever. Third Elder nodded approvingly when he saw this. Using a celestial fox clone? This time Hua Yanluo is too clever for her own good. Yun Xing shook her head. Chapter 1230. The celestial fox doppelganger seemed to enhance the effect of the corpse puppet technique, but the celestial fox doppelganger would disperse Hua Yanluo's mental strength. In this way the effect of the corpse puppet technique would be greatly reduced. Therefore Yun Xing would not use the celestial fox doppelganger for this round of the competition. Hua Yanluo's talent in learning the corpse puppet technique was better than the other celestial fox saintess candidates. After the time it took for an incense stick to burn, she had controlled 4 celestial fox soldiers. So far she had the best result among all the candidates. Sangdu Hua Yanluo advance. As soon as the third elder finished speaking, Hua Yanluo's whole body went limp. She felt as if her bones were about to fall apart. I'm so tired. I won't use this corpse puppet technique a second time even if you beat me to death, Hua Yanluo complained, but her face was full of joy. In any case she had passed the written test. She also knew that it was impossible for her to become the saintess with her current strength. But the main thing was that after passing the written test, her status would skyrocket when she returned to the Hua family. At least, she would no longer have to be afraid of the official mother and sister of the Hua family. Seeing that Hua Yanluo had also controlled 4 soldiers, Qinyu stepped forward. After the time it took for half an incense stick to burn, Qinyu had already controlled 3 soldiers, but her mental strength was almost exhausted. There's still half an incense stick to burn. No matter what, I can't be worse than Hua Yanluo. Qinyu was also stubborn. She had always felt that she was the least valued among the candidates in Sangdu, but this time she wanted to be the first. She gritted her teeth and muttered something under her breath as she stared at one of the soldiers. This woman was still trying to be brave at this time. Yun Xing had already seen that Qinyu's mental strength was on the verge of exhaustion. This state was very dangerous. If she was careless, she would likely be counterattacked by the corpse puppet technique. Sure enough, after a while, Qinyu gave a short shout, and her eyes were full of pain. The third elder stepped forward to check. Qinyu of Tsangdu has overused her spiritual power. She has already controlled 3 soldiers and advanced to the next round. Saintess candidates, I'm here to remind you that the corpse puppet spell is not an ordinary spell. Its side effects are huge. If you use it too much, you may injure yourself. Remember that. After the third elder reminded everyone, the competition continued. After learning their lesson from Qinyu, the saintess candidates became much more cautious. Feng Lian controlled the 2 of them and successfully advanced. When it was Hu Linglong's turn, she walked forward with a smug look on her face. When she walked past Yu Shang, Yun Xing and Lu Yunshuang, she even cast a provocative glance at them. Clearly, she had already viewed the 3 of them as her strongest opponents. Hu Linglong boasted that she was the most proficient in the corpse puppet technique. As soon as she stepped onto the stage, she immediately began to chant. Her foxy eyes revealed an alluring light. The celestial fox soldier who met her gaze only felt a numbing sensation run up the soles of his feet. His entire being became muddle-headed. Hu Linglong's corpse puppet technique progressed very smoothly. In less than a third of an incense stick's time, she had already controlled 10 celestial fox soldiers. After those valiant and warlike soldiers were controlled, they surrounded Hu Linglong like loyal dogs. The onlookers could not help but sigh. This corpse puppet technique is quite impressive. If we encounter it in the Bahuang clan competition, it will be somewhat threatening. Green watched from the side and could not help but become more cautious. However, he did not know if this corpse puppet technique was also effective on experts. How many people do you think Hu Linglong will be able to control in the end? Unlike the envious faces of the other celestial fox saintess candidates, in Yun Sheng's eyes, Hu Linglong's corpse puppet technique was very crude. She must have learned the corpse puppet technique before, but due to her aptitude she should have only learned about 30% of it. At this level, the closer she is to the end, especially in the last third of an incense stick's time, the more her mental strength is exhausted. The speed of controlling people will also be much slower. About 25 people, slightly stronger than me. Lu Yunshuang's face was still frosty. Yun Xing also nodded. Her concerns were similar to Lu Yunshuang's. However, Yun Xing suddenly noticed that Yu Shang, who was not far away, was staring at Hu Linglong. A hint of calculation flashed across her blue-green eyes, which resembled those of a Persian cat. Was that woman up to no good? Yun Sheng's heart skipped a beat. Everyone's attention was now on Hu Linglong on the stage. No one noticed Yu Shang's strange behavior. Only Yun Sheng felt that something was amiss. Something seemed to float out of Yu Shang's hand. That thing, mixed with the sunlight, blew toward Hu Linglong. Just as Yun Sheng and Lu Yunshuang had guessed, in the last third of an incense stick's time, Hu Linglong's mental strength was exhausted, and the speed at which she used the corpse puppet technique became slower and slower. She did not notice that Yu Shang had done something to her body. So hot. Hu Linglong felt as if something was burning on her body. Everything before her was white, as if she was being illuminated by the dazzling sunlight. Hu Linglong's consciousness began to blur, and she muttered to herself. So hot, I want to take off my clothes. Hu Linglong ignored everyone's stares and suddenly unbuttoned her clothes, leaving only a red doo-doo on her body. Whoosh, the whole place was in an uproar. Everyone was looking at this strange scene. As Hu Linglong took off her clothes, she pounced on the celestial fox soldier, moaning like a clingy loach. Miss Linglong, what's wrong with you? Third Elder was shocked. How did Hu Linglong, who had been perfectly fine, suddenly become like this? Unexpectedly, Hu Linglong did not hear him at all. She pounced on the celestial fox soldiers like a hungry wolf. Several celestial fox saintess candidates from Hu Capital saw this and hurriedly tried to pull her away, but she pushed them all away. When Yun Sheng saw this, she took a step forward. A few needles flashed on her fingertips, and she stabbed them into Hu Linglong's Renzhong and Qihai acupoints. Only then did Hu Linglong stop. Her body went limp and she fainted. What's going on? Third Elder was still in shock. He looked at Yun Sheng, then at Hu Linglong. This time it was really troublesome. Hu Linglong was Hu Qian Sui's daughter. She had made such a big fool of herself in the Heavenly Fox literature exam. If this news were to spread, Hu Linglong's reputation would be ruined. She must have overused her mental strength and suffered a backlash, Yun Sheng explained, but her gaze fell on Yu Shang, who was not far away. This woman had secretly done something. Yu Shang glanced at Yun Sheng and a cold smile tugged at the corner of her mouth. Only the two of them knew what had just happened. Chapter 1231. Yun Sheng did not expose Yu Shang's trick, but Yu Shang had already noticed Yun Sheng. That half-blood bitch had seen through her trick. Yu Shang's eyes were filled with fury. After Hu Linglong was rescued and woke up, she was embarrassed and angry when she found out about her embarrassing behavior. She rushed to Yun Sheng. It's you? What did you do to me? This human bitch was a doctor. The situation just now was so strange. She must have done something. Hu Linglong, be more polite. Yun Sheng could not be bothered with this idiot. She did not want to get into another conflict with Hu Linglong. Yu Shang was enjoying the show, waiting for the two of them to fight. When Third Elder saw this, he quickly persuaded Hu Linglong. After all, there were so many people present, and no one had seen Yun Sheng do anything. Hu Linglong's strange behavior could only be attributed to her improper use of the corpse puppet technique. After some calculations, they found that Hu Linglong had controlled a total of 20 celestial fox soldiers. However, because of her embarrassing behavior just now, everyone was looking at her strangely. Hu Linglong wanted to find a hole to hide in. She tried her best to recall, but no matter how hard she tried, she could not figure out what had happened to her. What happened? Lu Yunshuang asked Yun Sheng in a low voice. Someone plotted against us. Yun Sheng glanced at Yu Shang, who was also looking at her coldly. This woman had probably planned to do something to Hu Linglong long ago. Yun Sheng had also checked Hu Linglong's body. There were no signs of poison. Even if she confronted Hu Linglong face to face, others would only say that she was making false accusations. Yu Shang of Yudu's true identity was probably not that simple. Third Elder's expression turned ugly when he heard about Hu Linglong's incident. A few more celestial fox saintess candidates took turns to go up, but most of their results were not as good as Hu Linglong's. Soon it was the turn of the people from Fengdu. They were also more daunting than dangerous. Lu Yunshuang had received Yun Sheng's reminder and did not use her full strength. She used the corpse puppet technique to successfully control 13 people. Chen Qi's performance was barely satisfactory. She used the corpse puppet technique to control 5 people. Finally, it was Yun Sheng's turn. When Yun Sheng stepped forward, Yu Shang suddenly rushed out and blocked Yun Sheng's path. Third Elder, this kind of competition is too boring. Yu Shang has a suggestion. I want to compete with her. Yu Shang glanced at Yun Sheng. Yun Sheng and Yu Shang were the only two selected Celestial Fox Saintess candidates who possessed the six-tailed Celestial Fox bloodline. The two of them had completely memorized the corpse puppet technique in the first half of the trial. Coupled with Hu Linglong's failure and her abnormal behavior just now, Yun Sheng and Yu Shang had become the strongest pair. How about it? Do you dare to compete with me? Yu Shang's blue and green eyes were filled with provocation. This woman had disrupted her plan with just a few needles. Yu Shang was already hostile towards Yun Sheng. How do we compete? Yun Sheng also wanted to see what tricks Yu Shang had up her sleeve. There were too many suspicious points about this woman. She might as well compete with her and find out the truth. Both of them had six-tailed Celestial Fox bloodlines. What if they really competed? Third Elder pondered in his heart. Let them compete. A voice suddenly rang out in Third Elder's mind. Third Elder was slightly startled. It was clan leader Hu Qianxiu's voice. Could it be that the clan leader was also watching nearby? Third Elder no longer hesitated and agreed. He divided the 100 Celestial Fox soldiers into two halves, 50 on each side. The rules of the competition were also changed slightly. The winner would be whoever could control the 50 Celestial Fox soldiers in the shortest time. 50 people? Yun Sheng and Yu Shang glanced at the 50 Celestial Fox soldiers assigned to each side. The incense was lit. Yun Sheng and Yu Shang each began to perform the corpse puppet spell. Both of them began to chant. Unlike the previous Celestial Fox Saintesses, Yun Sheng and Yu Shang were much more proficient in the corpse puppet spell. In just a few breaths, Yun Sheng had already subdued a Celestial Fox soldier. On the other side, Yu Shang was not slow either. Her blue-green eyes seemed to have a magical power. Any Celestial Fox soldier who met her eyes would lose their souls and fall under her control. The Celestial Fox soldiers who had been subdued walked to Yun Sheng and Yu Shang's sides like puppets. It's clearly not their first time using the corpse puppet spell. Hu Linglong had also noticed something was amiss. She would never believe that the B***starred and Yu Shang from Yudu had never learned the corpse puppet spell before. It's not the first time some of them are using it either. How dare they criticize others? Lu Yunshuang mocked them without holding back. Hu Linglong's face alternated between red and white. It was as ugly as it could get. So fast. Yu Shang continued to perform the corpse puppet spell while paying attention to Yun Sheng's situation. What surprised her was that the Celestial Fox bastard who had appeared out of nowhere was actually as fast as her when using the corpse puppet spell. The number of Celestial Fox soldiers controlled by both sides was almost the same. This was the first time in many years that Yu Shang had met someone who was on par with her in using the corpse puppet spell. However, if the other party thought that they could beat her just like that, they were gravely mistaken. A smile spread across Yu Shang's plump lips. She suddenly stopped chanting. There was a flash of light on her body, and something floated on her fair, jade-like skin. Having learned her lesson from Hu Linglong, Yun Sheng had always been wary of Yu Shang. When she saw the sudden change in Yu Shang's body, she could not help but stop chanting as well. Eye-like pupils appeared eerily on Yu Shang's body and face. The pupils were enchanting and emitted a faint blue light. Wherever the blue light went, the Celestial Fox soldiers who were still conscious quickly became dazed. Even some of the Celestial Fox soldiers on Yun Sheng's side walked toward Yu Shang. Celestial Fox's inheritance, spectral eyes. Third Elder could not help but cry out when he saw the eerie eyes that appeared on Yu Shang's body. Spectral eyes was a long-lost ultimate technique of the Yudu lineage. It could strengthen the effects of the corpse puppet spell and allow more Celestial Fox soldiers to be controlled by Yu Shang. Even the few Celestial Fox soldiers who were under Yun Sheng's control were controlled by Yu Shang's spectral eyes. They did not expect Yu Shang to be proficient in spectral eyes. It seemed that Yu Shang's spectral eyes had something to do with her being able to break through to six-tailed when she was still five-tailed. No wonder that woman provoked Yun Sheng just now. Lu Yunshuang, who was watching the battle from the sidelines, could not help but worry. As soon as spectral eyes were used, the Celestial Fox soldiers on Yun Sheng's side walked toward Yu Shang as if they were being pulled by something. It was obvious that they had been controlled by the eerie spectral eyes. If this continued, Yun Sheng might lose. A smug smile appeared on Yu Shang's lips. Showing off in front of an expert, Yu Shang of Yudu. You asked for it. Yun Sheng's eyes grew brighter and brighter. A golden light flashed through them like lightning. Chapter 1232. Yu Shang, you asked for it. Yun Sheng had wanted to pass the theory test casually, but she did not expect Yu Shang to provoke her again and again. Yun Sheng had never been an easy person to get along with. The celestial fox soldiers, many of whom were on Yun Sheng's side, were being forcefully controlled by Yu Shang's spectral eye. Yun Sheng's black pupils suddenly turned golden. The moment her pupils turned golden, the wind and clouds in the sky suddenly changed. Bzz, everyone heard a strange sound coming from above their heads. That is, what is that? A giant golden pupil, which was tightly shut, hung high in the sky like a scorching sun. The giant pupil opened abruptly, and the golden light emitted from the golden pupil shocked everyone in the celestial fox shrine. Oh no! Even Green felt dizzy at that moment. He hurriedly activated his magical defense. The spectators who reacted faster also hurriedly released their magical defense and battle energy walls in an attempt to resist the golden light emitted by the strange pupil. The celestial fox soldiers, who were already under the control of the spectral eye, felt dizzy when they came in contact with the golden light. They stopped walking toward Yu Shang and walked toward Yun Sheng. What? Yu Shang also felt dizzy. The spectral eye on her body was stinging under the golden light of the golden pupil. Needless to say, it was difficult to control the celestial fox soldiers with the spectral eye. The time it takes for an incense stick to burn is up. The voice of the third elder woke the crowd up instantly. The giant golden pupil in the sky also disappeared. On the field, Yun Sheng and Yu Shang stood facing each other. Both of them did not look good. What kind of sorcery did you use? Yu Shang did not care about the competition anymore. Her face was red with anger as she stared at Yun Sheng. Celestial Fox's inheritance, golden puppet eyes, Lung Hao said coldly. Impossible. I've never heard of such a celestial fox inheritance in the world, said Yu Shang in disbelief. Not to mention Yu Shang, even third elder and Hu Qianxiu, who was secretly observing the competition, had never seen such a celestial fox inheritance. Even if I haven't seen it before, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist in this world. This is an inheritance that I comprehended myself. Yun Sheng's golden puppet eye was comprehended by her by combining it with the Yen clan's Shenong eye. It could be said that other than her, no one else in the 8 Desolates continent could use the golden puppet eyes. Self-created. She created her own celestial fox inheritance? Hearing that Yun Sheng's celestial fox inheritance was created by herself, the third elder couldn't help but be shocked. Very few people were able to create their own celestial fox inheritance. The power of the golden puppet eyes just now was indeed not to be underestimated. If this was true, then this celestial fox mixed blood's talent was much higher than Yu Shang and Hu Linglong's. The people from Cangdu and Fengdu were also shocked. If Yun Sheng really used the celestial fox inheritance, including the celestial fox claw and the fox's traceless shadow, she would have at least 3 celestial fox inheritances. This woman had not revealed anything earlier. Wasn't she a little too sinister? Third elder, the two of them have violated the rules of the theory test by using the celestial fox inheritance. They should be disqualified. Hu Linglong seized the opportunity to confirm that Yun Sheng and Yu Shang had violated the rules. The theory test is not the combat test. You can't use the celestial fox inheritance, said third elder. Yun Sheng and Yu Shang's expressions changed slightly. However, the two of you are indeed better than the others in the application of the corpse puppet technique. Third elder had already received the clan leader's instructions. He knew that these two women were very likely to be the most promising candidates for the celestial fox saintess in the future. At this time, if one of them violated the rules and both of them were disqualified, how would he explain it to the clan leader and the elders' council? Therefore, after careful consideration, I have decided to make an exception and let the two of you enter the next round of the combat test. However, the two of you will have to be punished accordingly. In the third round of the combat test, the two of you will be the last to depart after the other saintess candidates. Third elder made a compromise. As a result, Hu Linglong, who was originally third place at most, suddenly jumped to first place in the theory test. Yun Sheng and Yu Shang, who were supposed to have the best results, ended up at the bottom because of the golden puppet eyes and spectral eyes. Some people were very satisfied with this result, while others were very angry. After the theory test, the number of people in the Celestial Fox Saintess selection ceremony was reduced from 20 to 16. The remaining 16 people would participate in the last round of the combat test in 3 days. Let's wait and see in the combat test. Yu Shang glared hatefully at Yun Sheng. If it wasn't for Yun Sheng, she would definitely be first in the theory test. Hu Linglong had profited from her misfortune. Just as she was about to show off, she suddenly saw Green in the crowd. Green, why are you here? Are you here to watch me participate in the selection ceremony? Seeing her sweetheart, Hu Linglong smiled and rushed towards Green. However, Green seemed to not see her at all. His gaze passed through the crowd. Hu Linglong's cry attracted the attention of Yun Sheng and Yu Shang. Only then did the two of them notice that there was an extraordinary young man standing in the crowd. It's him, the descendant of the Bahuang tribe. Yun Sheng still remembered Green, but her gaze quickly fell on the woman next to Green. With just one glance, Yun Sheng realized that this woman was very similar to her mother, Hu Jiusheng, and also to Hu Sheng. Yun Sheng hesitated for a moment. Coincidentally, Lu Yunshuang walked over from the side. Only then did she dismiss the idea of chatting with the woman. Yu Shang also saw Green in the crowd. At the same time, she clearly heard Hu Linglong's affectionate tone. What was this man's background? Yu Shang's beautiful eyes darted around. A scheming glint flashed across her blue-green eyes. She brushed her hair and walked gracefully to stand in front of Green. This is the young chief of the Nine Luan tribe. Nice to meet you. With that, she winked at Green. Whether it was Hu Linglong or Yu Shang, Green did not notice their attentions. He looked a little absent-minded. His gaze was fixed on the masked woman not far away. So familiar. This feeling. Green felt his heartbeat quicken involuntarily. Why were those eyes so similar to the eyes of the person he yearned for day and night? Was it her? Why was she in the Bahuang continent? And why was she participating in the selection of celestial foxes saintess? Big brother Green, are you even listening to me? Hu Linglong was even more annoyed when she saw Green ignoring her and Yu Shang fawning over him. It was then that she saw the woman next to Green. Big brother Green, why are you with the chief's wife? Hu Linglong yelled. Chapter 1233. The chief's wife? Hearing Hu Linglong's roar, those who were not paying attention all looked at Hu Rulin. Although Hu Rulin was the chief's wife, she lived in seclusion, so not many people knew her true face. Because of Hu Sheng, Hu Linglong had always been hostile to Hu Rulin. Why would the clan leader's wife be walking together with a young man? For a moment, everyone began to discuss. Hu Linglong, what nonsense are you talking about? This madam is here to find her daughter, Lu scolded. This time he had come to Hu City in disguise. Now that Hu Linglong had made such a ruckus, everyone would know his identity. This woman was still so annoying. Find her daughter? Brother Lu, isn't her daughter that useless Hu Sheng? That useless person who disgraced the celestial fox tribe and is now a plaything of the human race. Hu Linglong looked at Hu Rulin's pretty face with disgust. Hu Sheng looked very similar to Hu Rulin. Relying on this face that men flocked to, she pretended to be delicate and pitiful all day long. Don't talk about Xing'er like that. Xing'er is not useless. Hu Rulin listened to Hu Linglong's words. Every word was like a knife stabbing her all over. Her daughter's whereabouts were unknown, but Hu Linglong still humiliated her like this. Earlier, someone said that her daughter's disappearance was related to Hu Linglong. Even a clay figurine had a temper. Hu Rulin was angry and started to fight with Hu Linglong. Hu Linglong did not care about Hu Rulin at all. Even if she was the chief's wife, she was already the chief's wife who was no longer favored. The chief, Hu Qianxiu, did not even bother to look at her. Go away, you old woman who no one wants. Hu Linglong lifted her fingertips and pulled Hu Rulin's hair, grabbing her face. Stop. Although he did not know how Hu Rulin suddenly became the chief's wife, he was the one who brought her here. Lu would not allow Hu Linglong to hurt her. He was about to stop Hu Linglong, but at this moment he heard a paw sound. The slap was ruthless and accurate as it flew towards Hu Linglong's face. This slap came so suddenly that Hu Linglong only felt a dull pain on her face. She was forcefully thrown back and fell to the ground in a sorry state. Hu Rulin, who had a terrified look on her face, had already been snatched away by someone to protect her behind him. Xing'er is not a good for nothing. Hu Rulin's face was full of tears as she muttered unwillingly. Madam, everything is fine now. The soft female voice woke Hu Rulin up from her dream. She looked up and saw the masked celestial fox saintess candidate looking at her. Even though her face was covered, her eyes were filled with worry and heartache. Hu Rulin had only seen such a look on her daughter's face. The woman in front of her, her figure and silhouette, was so similar to the daughter she yearned for day and night. You are Xing'er. Hu Rulin could not help but pull off Yun Sheng's veil with trembling hands. Yun Sheng did not expect Hu Rulin to suddenly make such a move. She wanted to stop her, but it was too late. When the veil fell, a beautiful face was exposed in front of everyone. Anyone who had seen the former celestial fox saintess, Hu Sheng, could not help but gasp at this moment. Hu Rulin's eyes were filled with infatuation. Xing'er, it was really her Xing'er. Green was dumbfounded. He stared at Yun Xing in a daze. This couldn't be a dream, right? It was her. Compared to a few years ago, the beauty in front of him, whether it was her temperament or cultivation, was much better than before. She was Yun Xing, the Yun Xing who made him lose his soul the moment he saw her. It's you, Hu Xing. How dare you come back? Hu Linglong was slapped by Yun Xing. Her hair was messy and her cheeks were swollen. However, all of this could not compare to the shock she felt when she saw Hu Sheng. Why was this woman haunting her? Why did she return to the 8 Wastelands continent? It's the Saintess. Isn't this the Saintess who has been missing for a long time? Everyone from the Celestial Fox tribal country, including the third elder, was shocked. No, you're not Hu Sheng. Where did this imposter come from? Hu Linglong looked again and realized that this woman was not Hu Sheng. Although she looked exactly the same as Hu Sheng, her eyes and actions as well as her cultivation were definitely not that trash. She's Xing'er. Hu Linglong, don't slander her. Hu Rulin refused to let go of Yun Xing when she saw her. Her daughter had been missing for so long. She was finally back. Madam, listen to my explanation first. Yun Xing saw Hu Linglong bullying Hu Rulin and knew that Hu Rulin was Hu Sheng's poor mother. She wanted to find Hu Rulin and tell her about Hu Sheng's ashes after the theory examination. Who knew that Hu Linglong would be so hateful as to humiliate and beat Hu Rulin in public. She could not stand it anymore. Xing, our mother knew it was you. Mother knew that you would come to the Celestial Fox Shrine with a premonition. You're really here. Let Mother see if you're hurt or suffered. Mother is useless and made you suffer so much. Hu Rulin did not hear Yun Sheng's words at all. She touched Yun Sheng's face and held her hand. What's going on? How did this Celestial Fox bastard become the Saintess? The most shocked people were the Saintess candidates from Fengdu and Songdu, especially Qin Yu and Qin Qi. They were still mocking Yun Sheng's background. Who knew that she was actually the Patriarch's daughter? Third Elder was also embarrassed. If Yun Sheng was really the previous Celestial Fox Saintess who went missing, then this Celestial Fox selection ceremony would become a joke. Hu Do had prepared for the Celestial Fox selection ceremony for so long and had even publicized it to the public. The Patriarch had even invited the old Patriarch of the 9 Yuan tribe to watch. All of this was wasted effort. Also, how should the Saintess candidates who had traveled thousands of miles from other capital cities, as well as the women who had been assassinated on their way here, be dealt with? She can't be Hu Sheng. She's a mixed blood. Have you forgotten that Hu Sheng is a purebred? This woman is a mixed blood. She must have used some method to deliberately disguise herself as Hu Sheng. She has ulterior motives. She must be arrested. Hu Linglong was also panicking in her heart. No matter who she was, she would never allow her to become the Celestial Fox Saintess again. This matter needs to be investigated thoroughly. Otherwise it will be too unfair to the other Saintess candidates. Yu Shang was also dissatisfied. If it wasn't for this woman, Yu Shang was completely confident that she would become the Celestial Fox Saintess this time. All of this was disrupted by this Celestial Fox bastard who appeared out of nowhere. That's right. Revoke her status as a Saintess candidate and arrest her. The other Saintess candidates also echoed. Chapter 1234. All the spearheads were pointed at Yun Sheng. You're not allowed to bully Xing'er. Hu Rulin was brave for the first time in her life in the face of these accusations and difficulties. She opened her arms and protected Yun Sheng like a mother eagle protecting her young. However, her shoulders were trembling uncontrollably. Yun Sheng was a little touched, but at the same time she was a little emotional. Hu Rulin and her mother looked exactly the same, but their personalities and strength were worlds apart. If her mother was here, she would probably cast a magic spell on anyone who was dissatisfied. Yun Sheng did not cower in the face of all the questioning gazes. She patted Hu Rulin's shoulder as if she was coaxing a child. Madam, I will deal with this. Yun Sheng took a step forward and swept her gaze over everyone present at a leisurely pace. So what if I'm Hu Sheng? So what if I'm not Hu Sheng? Don't you want a Saintess? Do you really think that everyone wants to be the Saintess of the Celestial Fox tribe? Yun Sheng sneered. How dare you look down on the Celestial Fox Saintess? The third elder was provoked by Yun Sheng's mocking gaze. He let out a furious roar, and the 100 or so heavenly fox soldiers immediately surrounded him. Hold on. Green took a step forward and blocked the path of the Celestial Fox soldiers. Brother Green, what are you doing? That woman is not a good person. I remember now. I met this woman in the Duqian blood realm. She had pretended to be Hu Sheng. She must be a spy from the boundless world. Hu Linglong was furious when she saw Green protecting that mixed-blood bastard. Shut up. If you dare to speak ill of her again, don't blame me for being rude. Green's gaze was cold. What's wrong with the young clan leader? Why do you want to get involved in the Celestial Fox tribe? Yaoji and Hui Yu were puzzled by the young chieftain's sudden change. Before he left, Green had said firmly that he would not marry any Celestial Fox Saintess even if all the women in the world were dead. That's not right. Look at the young patriarch's face, why is it so red? Also, look at the way he looks at that lady. Hui Yu saw some clues. Apart from having a good relationship with D Clan's young patriarch Z, the young patriarch had never been too close to anyone else. But today he clearly looked like he was experiencing his first awakening of love. Grey Feather then looked at Yun Sheng. It was undeniable that this Celestial Fox mixed-blood woman was very beautiful, so beautiful that it was suffocating. However, the young patriarch was not a superficial person who would only look at a person's appearance. What exactly was going on? You again? I'll handle my own matters. Yun Sheng also had a puzzled look on her face. She recognized Green, but if she didn't remember wrongly, she even fought with him last time. Why did he suddenly jump out? Yun Sheng, don't be afraid. I'm here. Green said gently. What the hell is going on? A stern rebuke was heard and the crowd parted. The Celestial Fox tribe's patriarch, Hu Qianxiu, and the Nine Yuan tribe's old patriarch walked over together. Hu Qianxiu had given instructions to the third elder earlier, and thought that the theory test had been successfully completed. Who knew that the third elder suddenly reported that the patriarch's wife, the Nine Yuan tribe's young patriarch, and a woman who looked exactly like the previous saintess had all appeared in the Celestial Fox temple together. Hu Qianxiu knew that something was wrong, so he invited the Nine Yuan tribe's old patriarch and rushed to the Celestial Fox temple together. Hu Qianxiu saw Hu Rulin and Yun Sheng at a glance. When he saw Yun Sheng, Hu Qianxiu was also shocked. This woman was too similar to his daughter, Hu Sheng. Knowing that the daughter was no match for the father, Hu Qianxiu, that kind of old fox, could tell at a glance that this woman wasn't Hu Sheng. Hu Sheng didn't have such sharp eyes and didn't have such a cold aura. The Nine Yuan tribe's old patriarch's gaze fell on his grandson, Green. But when he looked at his grandson, he didn't seem to see his grandfather at all. At this moment, he was gazing at a Celestial Fox woman affectionately. The Nine Yuan tribe's old patriarch almost burst into tears. What was this situation? Wasn't this brat always clamoring that he wasn't willing to marry into the Celestial Fox tribe? Looking at his current appearance, he definitely liked the other party. The Nine Yuan tribe's old patriarch looked at Yun Sheng again, and when he saw her appearance, he nodded his head in satisfaction. After looking a few more times, the Nine Yuan tribe's old patriarch suddenly realized that this woman was the prospective granddaughter-in-law that he had taken a fancy to in the inn earlier. Who exactly are you? Hu Qianxiu questioned Yun Sheng. Yun Sheng was also sizing up Hu Qianxiu. This Celestial Fox tribe's patriarch looked very young, and his appearance was very scholarly, but his pair of cunning eyes betrayed him. This man was the Celestial Fox people that Hu Sheng said was cold and heartless. For so many years he didn't care about the life and death of Hu Sheng and his daughter. Qianxiu, she is our Shenger. When Hu Rulin saw Hu Qianxiu, she was still a bit timid, but she was afraid that her husband would scare her daughter again, so she hurriedly walked forward. Nonsense, she's not Sheng. Hu Qianxiu was just about to reprimand her. Hey Qianxiu, it doesn't matter whether this girl is your daughter or not. What's important is whether she is competent for the position of Celestial Fox Saintess. The Nine Yuan tribe's old patriarch winked at Hu Qianxiu. Hu Qianxiu saw that the Nine Yuan tribe's old patriarch's attitude was ambiguous, and then he used his finger to secretly point at Green and Yun Sheng. Yun Sheng and Green, one was delicate and cold, the other was tall and elegant. When they stood together they were like a pair of jade. What surprised Hu Qianxiu the most was that from the moment he appeared until now, the Nine Yuan tribe's young patriarch didn't even look in his direction. That pair of eyes was incomparably gentle as they gazed at Yun Sheng. He was also an experienced person. How could he not see that the Nine Yuan tribe's young patriarch had feelings for Yun Sheng? Hu Qianxiu's heart jumped, and he immediately understood the Nine Yuan tribe's old patriarch's meaning. It was said that a forcefully picked melon was not sweet. Previously, Hu Qianxiu was worried that the Nine Yuan tribe's young patriarch wouldn't fancy Hu Linglong, so he held this Celestial Fox Saintess selection ceremony. Whether Yun Sheng was Hu Sheng or not wasn't the most important thing. The important thing was whether the Nine Yuan tribe's young patriarch was willing to marry the celestial fox saintess. Looking at the situation, as long as Yun Sheng was the celestial fox saintess, the Nine Yuan tribe's young patriarch would definitely agree to the marriage between the two tribes. But if it was someone else, the Nine Yuan tribe's young patriarch might not be moved. Using the celestial fox saintess to become in-laws with the Nine Yuan tribe, wasn't this the result that Hu Qianxiu had always wanted? Thinking of this, Hu Qianxiu and the Nine Yuan tribe's old patriarch made a "you know, I also know" expression to each other. Old patriarch is right, the celestial fox saintess is for the strong. This is also the main purpose of this celestial fox saintess selection. Since the theory test is already over, everything will go according to the normal process. 3 days later, the final round of the celestial fox saintess selection, the combat test, will be held. At that time, the one who obtains the first place in the combat test will become the celestial fox saintess. Hu Qianxiu decided to confirm Yun Sheng's identity afterwards. Chapter 1235. Once the celestial fox people leader Hu Qianxiu spoke, the other candidates, including Hu Linglong, could not say anything. The Nine Phoenix old patriarch had a smile on his face as he beckoned his grandson over. Lu glanced at Yun Sheng and walked away unwillingly. "Rulin, follow me back to the palace." Hu Qianxiu walked up and wanted to take Hu Rulin away. I'm not going back. I'll go wherever Xinger goes." Hu Rulin left the palace this time to find her daughter. "Up to you. I don't believe you can stay outside for long." Hu Qianxiu was exasperated. This woman dared to go against his wishes. It was only a few days and she had already rebelled. She did not think that she was powerless and had no money. She would come back obediently in a few days. Hu Qianxiu left with the third elder and the rest. Yun Sheng rubbed her forehead and looked at Hu Rulin's face that looked like her mother. She was thinking about how to tell Hu Rulin about Hu Sheng's death. After learning that Hu Rulin had left the palace and had nowhere to stay for the time being, Yun Sheng could only inform Green and bring Hu Rulin to the inn where she was staying. "Madam, I'm not Hu Sheng. My name is Yun Sheng and I'm from the Boundless Land. Hu Sheng is no longer here. Before she died, she told me to bring her ashes back to the Celestial Fox tribe." Yun Sheng hesitated for a while and decided to tell the truth. She took out the box containing Hu Sheng's ashes. Hu Rulin did not say a word and did not take the box of ashes. "Madam, please restrain your grief." Yun Sheng sighed. She knew that Hu Rulin and Hu Sheng depended on each other for many years. It would be hard for her to accept her daughter's death. "No, that's not true. You're Sheng. You look exactly the same as Sheng. Sheng, why are you joking with me?" Hu Rulin smiled, her beautiful face full of disbelief. She lovingly caressed Yun Sheng's face, her eyes filled with stubbornness. "Madam Rulin, I look very similar to Hu Sheng. Also, you and my mother were both born in the Dutian blood beast sector. I don't know if you still remember, but the two of you look exactly the same." Yun Sheng couldn't bear to see Hu Rulin's expression and comforted her. "No, Xinger won't die. You're Sheng, don't worry. From now on, Mother will never leave you again. Wherever you go, Mother will follow. If you want to go to the boundless world, I will go with you." Hu Rulin despaired and held onto Yun Sheng's hand, refusing to let go. Tears filled her eyes. Yun Sheng knew that Hu Rulin wouldn't be able to accept this reality in such a short period of time. She could only use acupuncture to make Hu Rulin fall asleep temporarily. "I won't be able to hand over the bone ashes for a while. However, the trouble I caused this time is really big. I don't know when Hu Rulin will accept the news of Hu Sheng's death. This celestial fox saintess selection ceremony must be completed successfully. Only then can I obtain the antidote to save Yingying and baby sheep." Yun Sheng pondered. There was only one round left in the saintess selection ceremony. Among the remaining 10 people, only Yu Shang and Hu Linglong could pose a threat. Especially Hu Linglong. She had been taught a lesson by her a few times. She would definitely do something in this combat examination. She was the daughter of the chief's younger brother. She must have some influence in the Celestial Fox tribe. Also, the power that the Jade Garment of Yudu had displayed this time should only be a small part of her power. She would be Yunxing's greatest enemy in this saintess selection ceremony. There was one more thing that Yun Sheng was worried about. She still didn't know the specific content of the combat examination. However, no matter what, she had to prepare well. Yun Sheng decided to cultivate the corpse puppet technique and other celestial fox inheritances in the last few days. In fact, Yun Sheng wasn't the only one who was full of expectations for the celestial fox tribe's saintess selection ceremony this time. After the old chief of the 9 Phoenix tribe met up with the young chief, Green, the old chief kept looking at his grandson with a silly smile. Green felt goosebumps all over his body. Hee hee kid, didn't you say that you wouldn't come to Hu City? Why did you come here without a word? The old chief was tired of living in the Celestial Fox Palace these few days. He might as well move to an inn. Isn't it because you randomly matched me? Green was annoyed. If it wasn't for his grandfather being a busybody, he wouldn't have caused so much trouble. He originally planned to leave after watching the competition quietly. Who knew that such a big mistake would happen midway and even let Hu Linglong know that he was also in Hu City? After his identity was exposed, those Celestial Fox Saintess candidates all came to fawn on him. These few days the inn's doorstep was almost broken by so many people. Green was so annoyed that he simply refused to see them and rejected them all outside the door. Kid, do you really think that your grandfather is wrong? Alright then, the marriage between the 9 Phoenix tribe and the Celestial Fox tribe will be cancelled. So you don't like that girl called Yunsheng? The old chief of the 9 Phoenix tribe waved his hand and shouted that he wanted to cancel the marriage. Grandfather, what nonsense are you talking about? I didn't. Green stuttered. In short, do you like Yunsheng or not? The old chief had already found out that this wasn't the first time his grandson and Yunsheng had met. The reason why he was so against the marriage with the Celestial Fox tribe was not because he didn't like women, but because he already had someone in his heart. I like her very much. Green couldn't stand his grandfather's pestering and simply confessed. Then it's settled. This old man wants this granddaughter-in-law. I'll choose an auspicious day with Hu Qianxiu and let the two of you get married. The old chief of the 9 Phoenix tribe laughed happily, as if he would be able to hold his great-grandson on this day next year. Grandfather, don't mess around. Yunsheng doesn't like me. She seems to have someone in her heart. Green was distressed. Yunsheng's tone when talking to him earlier was very distant. However, this was not surprising. Speaking of which, he and Yunsheng had only met twice. The time they spent together was not even a full day. In this case, how could he let the girl like him? Green thought that Yunsheng was not the kind of woman who would be manipulated. If he provoked her, she would definitely fight to the death. So what if she has someone in her heart? She can participate in the Celestial Fox Saintess selection, which means she is still chaste. Let me tell you, women are easy to deceive. My grandson is tall and mighty, and is the young chief of the 9 Phoenix tribe. Looking at the entire 8 Desolates continent, no one can compare to you. After this Celestial Fox Saintess selection ceremony is over, I'll think of a way to make the raw rice become cooked rice. At that time, this granddaughter-in-law can't run away. The old chief of the 9 Phoenix tribe said and laughed. Green stood at the side, looking at his grandfather's intoxicated face helplessly. Chapter 1236. Seeing his grandfather's confident look, Green secretly shook his head. Grandpa must have been deceived by Yunsheng's appearance. Yunsheng was not easy to deal with. Green couldn't imagine what it would be like to have sex with Yunsheng. That woman would probably not agree to the marriage. It was more likely that Yunsheng had sharpened her knife and crippled him. However, even though she was such a ferocious woman, Lu was still very attracted to her. In Lu's opinion, the selection of the Heavenly Fox Saintess had undoubtedly brought him and Yunsheng one step closer. What was the relationship between Yunsheng and Hu Rulin? But judging from Yunsheng's appearance, it seemed that she still valued the other party. Hu Rulin had a good impression of him. If he could fight for more, he might have a chance with Yunsheng. Both grandfather and grandson had their own thoughts. Gray Feather and Yaoji, who were guarding outside the door, had different expressions. I really don't know what the old patriarch was thinking. That woman doesn't deserve to be our young patriarch's wife. Yaoji gritted her teeth. Yaoji, this is not something we should care about. Everyone can see that our young patriarch likes that girl very much. Gray Feather had watched the young patriarch grow up. The young patriarch had lost his parents when he was young. Although the old patriarch loved him in every possible way, the young patriarch had never accepted anyone except his good friend Ultraviolet, especially women. This was the first time that Gray Feather saw Green treat a woman differently. I will never agree with that woman. She may not become the Celestial Fox Saintess. Yaoji thought to herself. No matter what, she would not let that woman become the young patriarch's wife. Moreover, Yaoji had already seen that she was not the only one who didn't want Yunsheng to become the Celestial Fox Saintess. In the outskirts of Hu City, there was a strange building shaped like a lighthouse. It was like a big sword piercing into the dark night sky. Around it, the trees were withered. Only a few zombie owls landed on the trees, motionless. The interior and exterior of the building were gloomy. There were no lights in the building, only a few magic arrays that looked like hellfire emitted dim light. Inside the building, there was not a single soldier guarding it, but within a radius of 10 miles, there was no sign of human habitation. There was a long staircase winding like a mountain road all the way to the top of the tower. This lighthouse-like building was quite famous in the Celestial Fox tribal nation and even in the Bakra orcs. This tower was called the Witch Doctor Tower. It was the residence of the Great Witch Doctor of the Celestial Fox tribe. Celestial Fox was the only one living in the tower. At the top of the Witch Doctor Tower, there was a huge magical array. An old woman in a loose long robe was casting an incantation. As she chanted, the powerful wizard power was like a bat, occupying a coffin made of bronze. The coffin was no different from an ordinary coffin. Its surface was rusty, and there were a lot of ancient Celestial Fox incantations carved on it. The coffin floated in the air above the magical array, emitting a dim light. The old woman was very old. Her skin was loose and her eyes were muddy yellow. But such an old woman was the most respected person in the Celestial Fox tribal nation. Even the chief of the Celestial Fox people, Hu, had to be courteous when he saw her. This was the Great Witch Doctor of the Celestial Fox tribal nation. In the Celestial Fox tribal nation, her status was comparable to the chief of the Celestial Fox tribal nation, Hu and the Council of Elders. The Great Witch Doctor was proficient in all kinds of witchcraft. Her medical skills were also very good. The coffin was open and there was a human mummy lying inside. The mummy was wrapped in a lot of bandages. From the shape of the body, the mummy should have been a woman. The Great Witch Doctor was chanting an incantation, and a mysterious wizard power fell on the mummy. After 6 or 7 hours, the mummy moved. The bandages fell off, and the ancient mummy revealed her true face. The first thing that appeared was a pair of blue-green eyes and snow-white skin that was even more delicate than white jade. After the bandages were removed, the mummy was none other than the jade of Yudu Shang, who had shown in the Celestial Fox Saintess selection ceremony. "My lord, your injuries are no longer a problem." The Great Witch Doctor was of noble status. Ordinary people had to bow to her when they saw her, but when she saw the jade of Yudu Shang, she bowed. Yu Shang put on her clothes and waved her hand, indicating that the Great Witch Doctor need not be so polite. Yu Shang had returned to the Witch Doctor Tower after the written exam. Yun Sheng's golden eye scorpion was very powerful. The golden light from the golden eye had injured Yu Shang's spectral eye to a certain extent. Once she returned to the Witch Doctor Tower, blisters began to appear on her skin, as if she had been scalded. This made her look very disgusting. Fortunately, the Great Witch Doctor treated her in time. Now there were no more wounds on her body. "Can you tell what technique the opponent used?" Yu Shang asked the Celestial Fox Great Witch Doctor. "My lord, I don't know what kind of inheritance it is, but the opponent's technique is very special. If I'm not wrong, it must be a special martial art combined with the Celestial Fox's inheritance. She also seems to have a close relationship with the previous saintess, Hu Sheng." The Great Witch Doctor treated Yu Shang's wounds with wizard power. Yu Shang was the Great Witch Doctor's master? None of the Celestial Fox people's patriarch Hu Qianqiu and the other elders knew this. Hearing the Great Witch Doctor mention the previous saintess, Hu Sheng, Yu Shang's eyes were no longer as seductive as they were during the day. Her blue and green eyes were filled with coldness. "She's not the saintess of Celestial Fox. I'm the real Celestial Fox saintess," Yu Shang said angrily when the Great Witch Doctor mentioned the previous Celestial Fox saintess, Hu Sheng. That trash, the reputation of the Celestial Fox saintess had been ruined by her. "My lord, please calm down. You are the real Celestial Fox saintess. You were and will be. You are the most outstanding Celestial Fox saintess in the history of the Celestial Fox tribe," the Great Witch Doctor said fearfully. "If it wasn't for that bitch Hu Yen, I wouldn't have become what I am today. I had to rely on this Yudu woman to survive." Yu Shang, or rather, the saintess of the Celestial Fox tribe nation, was from the same generation as Hu Yen. Venomous light shot out from Hu Yushang's eyes. Most of the Celestial Fox people had heard of Hu Yen, but not many knew about Hu Yushang. Hu Yushang and Hu Yen were sisters of the same father but different mothers. They had grown up together. However, because Hu Yen was too outstanding, her limelight overshadowed Hu Yushang's. Hu Yushang was a 5-tailed celestial fox, while Hu Yen was a 6-tailed celestial fox. Hu Yen became the patriarch of the Celestial Fox people, while Hu Yushang could only be the Celestial Fox saintess. Even Patriarch Yishio of the Qilin tribe, whom Hu Yushang had a crush on, fell in love with Hu Yen after meeting her. Hu Yushang hated Hu Yen to the core, but she was very cunning. On the surface, Hu Yushang and Hu Yen seemed to be on good terms with each other, as if they were sisters. However, in reality, Hu Yushang had always harbored hatred in her heart and looked for opportunities to frame Hu Yen. Chapter 1237. The Bakra orcs and the humans were engaged in a battle of life and death. As the saintess of the Celestial Fox tribe, Hu Yushang had a disagreement with the tribe leader of the Celestial Fox tribe, Hu Yen. Finally, she got her chance and used the conflict between the Bakra orcs and the Bakra orcs to cause Hu Yen and Yishio to fall out. In the end, Hu Yen died in the Dutian blood world while trying to transfer the bloodline of the Celestial Fox. Hu Yushang was also severely injured, but with the help of the Celestial Fox witch doctor who had a crush on her, she escaped to the Eight Desolates continent. She thought that after Hu Yen died, the Celestial Fox tribe and Yishio would fall into her hands. Little did she know that things were completely different from what she had imagined. Yishio died in the blood world of the Eight Desolates. The idiots of the Celestial Fox tribe only remembered Hu Yen. They even built a Celestial Fox shrine to commemorate Hu Yen. Hu Yushang, on the other hand, was completely ignored. Not only that, the Black Qilin tribe who had lost their tribe leader, Yishio, also vented their anger on the Celestial Fox tribe. They led their troops to attack the Celestial Fox tribe, and Hu Yushang was severely injured in that battle. On her deathbed, Hu Yushang gave a strand of her soul to the witch doctor and asked him to find a suitable body for her. When her soul power recovered, she could be reborn. Unfortunately, the witch doctor spent his entire life trying to find a body that was compatible with Hu Yushang's soul. He could only ask future generations of Celestial Fox witch doctors to look for a suitable body for a Celestial Fox woman. Until this generation's great shaman doctor. By chance and coincidence, she actually found the Yudu jade garment. Not only did Yudu Yushang look similar to the Celestial Fox saintess Hu Yushang, but her bloodline was also very pure. She was a five-tailed Celestial Fox. The witch doctor caught Yudu Yushang and shrunk her soul into a shaman formation. He then placed Hu Yushang's strand of soul into Yudu Yushang's body. After more than 20 years, Hu Yushang's soul and Yudu Yushang's body finally merged perfectly. At this time, the witch doctor proposed a new Celestial Fox saintess, and Yudu Yushang appeared in front of everyone's eyes. Yudu Yushang's 5 tails and Celestial Fox saintess, she became 6-tailed from 5-tailed Celestial Fox saintess. If everything went according to the Grand Shaman and Yushang's plan, Yushang would naturally become the saintess of the Heavenly Foxes. But then Yun Essins. She was witch woman Yushang. Essen Yushang and Fox at anyone Fox in Essen Foxes and in Fox saintess. Fox and Yushang saintess Hu Yen. Yushang who? Yushang. Yushang thought. Her face under the veil was very similar to Jianghu Yen, the Celestial Fox people of the past. That woman is a hindrance. We must get rid of her during the combat test. Yudu Yushang had never been at a disadvantage before. Yun Sheng was the first person to make her suffer. She would never let Yun Sheng off the hook so easily. Don't worry, master. I've already set up an ambush there during the combat test. They will all listen to your orders. They will definitely kill her, the witch doctor said. The outside world only knew that the Celestial Fox witch doctor supported the previous Celestial Fox saintess, Hu Sheng. What they didn't know was that the witch doctor didn't support Hu Sheng. On the contrary, she only saw Hu Sheng as a dispensable existence. She had been waiting for Yudu Yushang's return all these years. She thought that with Hu Sheng's disappearance, it was only natural that Yudu Yushang would come back to inherit the title of Celestial Fox saintess. Who would have thought that Yun Sheng's appearance would disrupt her and Yudu Yushang's plan? Also, did you find out what I asked you to investigate? Yudu Yushang picked up a mirror and looked at her charming face. There's no news about the Black Qilin King for now. However, I heard that the Black Qilin tribe has found the Qilin King Sarira left behind, the witch doctor said. In Yudu Yushang's past life, the Black Qilin King Yeshio was her favorite. Unfortunately, Yeshio only loved Hu Shang's older sister, Hu Yen. I can sense Yeshio's aura. I'm sure he's still alive. Yudu Yushang chose to revive at this time mainly because she sensed the Black Qilin King Yeshio's aura. The man who was as handsome and powerful as the King of the Night was indeed alive. But master, if Yeshio really does come back to life, the first thing he'll do will be... The witch doctor had a top-secret document in his hands. It was left behind by the first witch doctor who had participated in the Great War of 8 Baron. That's right. If a man like Yeshua really revives, the first thing he'll do will be to wash the boundless continent with blood. And this time I'll stand beside him in Hu Yan's place. Yu Yushang chuckled. For most people these 3 days were very torturous. After Hu Rulan learned about her daughter Hu Sheng's death, she became muddle-headed and spouted nonsense every day. She would either fall asleep or pester Yun Sheng. She did this all the way until the day of the Heavenly Fox martial test. Worried about Hu Rulan's safety, Yun Sheng thought about it and entrusted Hu Rulan to Green for the time being. She's wary of everyone, but she seems to treat you quite well. Please take care of her while I'm participating in the combat trial. Yun Sheng already knew Green's identity. She'd also heard from Lu Yunshuang that the Nine Yuan tribe and the Celestial Fox tribe had a marriage contract. However, even if she won the Saintess selection this time, she would not have anything to do with Green. In Yun Sheng's heart there was only one person, Yi Baiming. Green was flattered by Yun Sheng's trust. Without another word he took on the task of taking care of Hu Rulan. Unlike the literary trial of the Celestial Fox Saintess, the combat trial of the Celestial Fox Saintess was held in the Celestial Fox Palace. Early in the morning Yun Sheng and Lu Yunshuang arrived at the Celestial Fox Palace together. Yun Sheng looked identical to the previous Celestial Fox Saintess. Therefore, as soon as she appeared, the Celestial Fox Saintess candidates from the other capital cities looked at her with revulsion. Other than Lu Yunshuang, only Feng Lian and Hua Yanluo treated her slightly better. However, what surprised Yun Sheng was that there were no arenas in the Celestial Fox Palace. It seemed that the combat trial this time was not as simple as an ordinary arena competition. After all the Celestial Fox Saintess candidates had arrived, the leader of the Celestial Fox people, Hu Qianqiu, and the old chief and young chief of the Nine Yuan tribe also appeared. Saintess candidates, congratulations on passing through the intense competition and entering the final round of the combat trial of the Celestial Fox Saintess selection. The content of the combat trial this time has also been confirmed, the search for the Celestial Fox Inheritance Pillar. With that, Hu Qianqiu flicked his sleeves. An illusion appeared in the sky. It was a lush forest with a large number of flying demonic beasts circling above the forest. From deep within the forest, roars of demonic beasts could be heard from time to time. The illusion showed the most chaotic area in the entire 8 Wilderness continent, also known as the 8 Wilderness Mountain Range. Chapter 1238. The 8 Desolates Mountain Range was the longest mountain range in the 8 Desolates mainland. It stretched for tens of thousands of miles, like a giant dragon lying on the mainland. When they saw the illusion, the dozen or so Celestial Fox Saintess candidates all had different expressions on their faces. You should have recognized the place in the illusion. After discussion with the Council of Elders and the Great Witch Doctor, we have decided to hold the combat examination in the 8 Desolates Mountain Range. Your mission is to find the Celestial Fox's Inheritance Pillar in the 8 Desolates Mountain Range. Hu Qianqiu's thunderous gaze swept across everyone present. Celestial Fox's Inheritance Pillar? Yun Sheng was surprised. What was that? As if knowing that Yun Sheng did not know, Lu Yunshuang whispered a few words into Yun Sheng's ear, and only then did Yun Sheng understand. As it turned out, the 8 Desolates Mountain Range was not only the longest mountain range on the mainland, it was also the first destination that the Bakra orcs arrived at when they first arrived on the mainland. At that time, the Bakra orcs were in tatters and many of the beasts were injured. As there were many native magical beasts in the mountain range, many Bakra orcs fell there as they fought. When they died, they were unwilling to let their ultimate techniques be lost, so they preserved their inheritances in the form of inheritance pillars. However, as the mountain range was vast and boundless and too much time had passed, those inheritance pillars had not been completely excavated. To this day, there were still countless inheritance pillars scattered in various regions of the 8 Desolates Mountain Range. Your mission this time is to find the inheritance pillars. Whoever can find the inheritance pillar of the highest grade within a month will be the next Celestial Fox Saintess, Hu Qianqiu said in a low voice. I also want to remind you that there are many magical beasts in the 8 Desolates Mountain Range, and there may even be other beasts who intend to get their hands on the 8 Desolates inheritance. In the coming month, there will be both opportunities and challenges for you. Although the Heavenly Fox tribe was one of the 8 Wastelands Beast clans, due to the gradual decline of the Heavenly Fox tribe, other tribes on the mainland that were not part of the 8 Wastelands Beast clans had become very dissatisfied with them over the years. There were even orcs who threatened to challenge the Celestial Fox tribe in the Bahuang clan competition a few months later and replace the Celestial Fox tribe's position as the Bakra orcs. Under such circumstances, Hu Qianqiu wanted to unearth the strongest celestial fox saintess candidates. If they were no match for the magical beasts and other beasts in the mountain range, it would prove that their strength was only so. However, if they could survive for a month and find the lost celestial fox inheritance pillar, their reputation would soar in the celestial fox tribal nation. Therefore, even though they knew that the 8 Desolates mountain range was extremely dangerous, the dozen or so celestial fox saintess candidates present were still eager to give it a try. After informing them of the mission of the combat examination, the dozen or so saintess candidates entered the magic array to the 8 Desolates mountain range under Hu Qianqiu's lead. Half a day later, Yun Sheng and a group of saintess candidates stood at the entrance of the 8 Desolates mountain range. In front of them was a bottomless sea of trees with jagged rocks of strange shapes. Between the sea of trees, the mountain path was fragmented. According to the results of the theory examination, Hu Linglong came in first. She could enter the mountain 2 hours earlier according to the rules. Lu Yunshuang and another celestial fox girl who had the second best results in the theory examination could enter the mountain 1 hour and half an hour earlier respectively. The remaining 10 celestial fox saintess candidates could only enter the mountain 2 hours later. A month later, I hope to see all of you return successfully, Hu Qianqiu said in a low voice. Linglong will not disappoint you, clan leader. Hu Linglong was the first to set off. She was dressed in a dazzling red dress that looked like a flame. She shuttled through the sea of trees and soon disappeared. An hour later, it was Lu Yunshuang's turn to set off. Yunsheng, this trip into the mountain is extremely dangerous. I want to go in with you. Lu Yunshuang did not set off immediately. Instead, she walked to Yunsheng's side. She and Yunsheng had become allies. Regardless of the situation in the 8 Desolates mountain range, if Yunsheng died, there would be no one to heal her ice fox constitution. Therefore, Lu Yunshuang decided to stay by Yunsheng's side along the way so that they could look after each other. As for the celestial fox inheritance pillar, it would depend on their own abilities when the time came. Relying on the support of the human race, aren't you afraid of embarrassing the purebred celestial fox? Qin Yu snorted when she saw this. She had been defeated by Lu Yunshuang back then, and she was still brooding over it. Wasn't the lesson last time enough? Lu Yunshuang's face was cold as she waved her slender hand. Qin Yu immediately recalled the feeling of her hands being frozen the last time. Now that that little bitch Yunsheng was not in their group, if she was frozen again, no one would be able to save her. Qin Yu shut her mouth obediently when she thought of this. Hua Yinluo, Qin Yu, and Feng Lian only entered the 8 Desolates mountain range together after the first few people had set off. These women did not usually get along well, but they all understood that in a place like the 8 Desolates mountain range, an extra helping hand meant an extra chance of survival. Almost everyone had left. Only Yunsheng, Lu Yunshuang, Yushang, and the other saintess candidate from Yudu remained. Yushang was especially quiet today. She looked at the 8 Desolates mountain range, her beautiful eyes flashing slightly. Yunsheng, we haven't decided who's the better one from our last competition. I will definitely find the best inheritance pillar. Yushang walked up to Yunsheng, her blue-green eyes glowing like a beast's. Let's go into the mountains. Yunsheng ignored Yushang's provocation. Every time she got close to Yushang, she would feel a chill run down her spine. This feeling was an instinctive rejection of unknown danger. Before Yunsheng left Hu City, she went to Elder Lu again and obtained a month's worth of antidote from him. Elder Lu threatened Yunsheng to do her best to find the celestial fox inheritance pillar. He also reminded Yunsheng that the deeper they went into the 8 Desolates mountain range, the higher the chance of finding a higher-level celestial fox inheritance pillar. Hu Qianqiu watched the last few people disappear into the forest before leaving. In the 8 Desolates mountain range, a shrill scream rang out. Hu Linglong, what are you doing? A celestial fox saintess candidate retreated in fear. What am I doing? A celestial fox mixed blood like you doesn't have the right to enter the 8 Desolates mountain range. I'll send you on your way. A murderous look appeared on Hu Linglong's beautiful face. She kicked out with her long legs, and her body wrapped around the celestial fox saintess candidate's neck as if she had no bones. With a crack, the celestial fox saintess candidate was ground into a pile of minced meat. You overestimate yourself. Do you really think you have the right to find the celestial fox inheritance just because you've entered the 8 Desolates mountain range? Hu Linglong looked behind her. After entering the 8 Desolates mountain range, she didn't immediately search for the celestial fox inheritance pillar. Instead, she laid in ambush on a path that was necessary to enter the mountain. 2 celestial fox saintess candidates had already died at her hands. Finding the celestial fox inheritance pillar required luck. Hu Linglong boasted of her strength, but the more people there were, the lower her chances of winning. Therefore she planned to find the weaker celestial fox saintess candidates who were alone and kill them in batches. Chapter 1239. You're overestimating yourself. Do you really think you're qualified to find the celestial fox's inheritance just because you've entered the 8 desolate mountain range? Hu Linglong looked ahead. After entering the 8 desolate mountain range, she did not immediately look for the celestial fox's inheritance pillar. Instead, she laid in ambush on a path that was necessary to enter the mountain. 2 celestial fox saintess candidates had already died in her hands. Finding the celestial fox's inheritance pillar required luck. Hu Linglong boasted of her strength, but the more candidates there were, the lower her chances of winning. This time, even Green had come to Hudu. She must let him know that only she was the most suitable wife of the 9 Phoenix tribe's future patriarch. Hu Linglong planned to find the weaker celestial fox saintess candidates who were alone and killed them in batches. After Hu Linglong and the Hudu saintess candidate killed several celestial fox saintess candidates, they lay in ambush on the side. Behind them, footsteps could be heard. Feng Lian, Huayan Luo and Qin Yu quickly rushed over. It was easy to kill one person, but if there were several of them, it would not be easy to sneak attack and kill them. Tisk, looks like these women are not stupid. They know how to move around together. Hu Linglong's eyes darkened. She knew that she had lost the best opportunity to kill them. Her figure flashed and disappeared into the forest with the Hudu saintess candidates. Hu Linglong and the others did not notice that in the process of killing the heavenly fox clansman, a bird was standing on a branch high up in the sky. That bird was different from ordinary birds. It had 3 heads and the feathers on each head were different. They were yellow, white and red. After the women left, the 3-headed bird landed on the ground and turned into a person with 3 heads. Big brother, those women just now are from the celestial fox tribe. Among the 3 heads, the white-haired man said. After waiting for so many days, they finally arrived. The red-haired man echoed. They're from the celestial fox tribe. However, the woman we're looking for hasn't arrived yet. The blond man took out a painting. It was a portrait of Yun Sheng. Big brother, it's just a mere beast man. Do you really need us 3 brothers to take action? The 3 brothers had strange appearances and seemed to have unfathomable strength. If it were an ordinary celestial fox, I wouldn't bother to make a move. But since that lord has already said so, we'll go all the way. The golden-haired man snorted. It's getting dark. We'll wait for an opportunity to act then. The golden-haired man covered his face. The 3-headed man once again transformed into a 3-headed bird and landed on a branch, quietly waiting for the arrival of night. Yun Xing, Lu Yunshuang and Qin Shi were flying at a low altitude. Magical wings and ice wings of different colors flashed behind their backs as they swiftly flew past. Since they had already confirmed that the high-level celestial fox inheritance pillar could only be found in the depths of the 8 desolate mountain range, Yun Xing did not want to waste too much time on the way. She was also certain that Hu Linglong and Yu Sham would get in the way. Right now, she only wanted to complete the combat test as soon as possible and exchange the antidote to save Bobo and little Yingying from Elder Lu. It's getting dark. Night is the most dangerous place in the 8 desolate mountain range. There's an open space ahead. Let's settle down and rest for the night. As the sun gradually set, Lu Yunshuang looked at the sky. During this hour, a large number of nocturnal flying beasts would fly out of the forest. The mountain range would become even more dangerous. The 3 of them flew down and found a few tents in the open space. The 2-person Yudu group, Hu Linglong and a celestial fox saintess candidate were there. Including Yun Sheng and the other 2, there were only about 10 people. These people were divided into 2 factions with Hu Linglong and Yu Shang at the center. This was not surprising. Hu Linglong had the highest status among all the saintess candidates, while Yu Shang had the highest ability for the time being. Both of them were purebred, so the other saintess candidates would naturally curry favor with them. Yu Shang and I have our eyes on this territory. You have no right to stay here. Get out of here immediately. As soon as she saw Yun Sheng and the others, Hu Linglong put on an unapproachable face. This open space had flat terrain and a wide view of the surroundings. Even if there was a night attack, they could see it clearly. If they missed this place, it would not be easy to find a suitable place to spend the night. The 8 desolate mountain range doesn't belong to you. What right do you have to make us leave? Yun Sheng looked unhappy. Because you're a mixed blood with an unclear background. The two of you listen up. If anyone stays with this mixed blood, don't even think about spending the night here. Hu Linglong held her head high. Behind her, the celestial fox saintess candidates echoed her words. Numbers speak louder than words. I advise you to leave. Yunsheng, no matter how strong you are, you're definitely no match for me and Hu Linglong. Yu Shang's tone was calm, but there was a hidden threat in her words. Wait a minute, I have nothing to do with her. I was just unlucky to be assigned to the same team. I'll announce that I'm leaving Fengdu's group now. Chen Qi listened from the side and quickly abandoned her teammates to join Hu Linglong's group. What a joke. Without a suitable campsite, how could the three of them survive the night in the 8 desolate mountain range? If they had to die, let that mixed blood Yunsheng die. Lu Yunshuang, what about you? Seeing that you're quite strong, we can consider accepting you if you abandon that bitch now. Hu Linglong could not wait for Yunsheng to be abandoned by everyone. The 8 desolate mountain range was full of unpredictable threats. If Yunsheng was left alone, her chances of dying were higher. Chen Qi, you'll regret this, Lu Yunshuang said coldly, using her actions to prove her answer. The two of them were forced to leave the campsite. Actually, you don't have to anger those people because of me. Yunsheng was quite touched by Lu Yunshuang's actions. This woman from the Ice Fox tribe looked cold on the outside, but she was very loyal to her friends. Just based on the fact that she did not betray her at the critical moment, Yunsheng decided to wait until the saintess selection was over before helping Lu Yunshuang change her body constitution. Even without you, I wouldn't have joined Hu Linglong and Yu Shang in the mire. But what should we do next? Before entering the 8 desolate mountain range, Lu Yunshuang had heard many legends about this mountain range. The nights here were not peaceful. Especially in the depths of the mountain range, there were likely to be large groups of sage-level magical beasts roaming. 1 or 2 of such magical beasts might not be a problem, but if they encountered hundreds or thousands of them, even she and Yunsheng would be helpless. What should we do? Of course it's an eye for an eye. Those women made us homeless, so how can we let them spend the night so comfortably? Yunsheng smiled. With a wave of her hand, the Phantom King and the Night Demon Queen appeared in front of her at the same time. Chapter 1240. You're a witch summoner? Lu Yunshuang was shocked when she saw the two of them. She had long known that Yunsheng was very powerful, but she did not expect her to be a witch summoner as well. Witch summoner? I'm a witch summoner. Yunsheng treated Lu Yunshuang as one of her own and did not hide anything from her. Queen of the Night Demons, King of the Spectres, I order you to lead your Chi Mei inspectors. Tonight in the 8 desolate mountains, ambush demonic beasts above sage level, then lure those demonic beasts to the open space ahead. Lu Yunshuang looked in the direction Yunsheng was pointing. Was that not the campsite where Hu Linglong, Yu Shang and the others were staying earlier? A large-scale attack by holy beasts. This would probably be the most unforgettable night of Hu Linglong and Yu Shang's lives. Lu Yunshuang looked at the relaxed Yunsheng and secretly rejoiced in her heart. Fortunately, she had chosen to be friends with Yunsheng. This woman was really too cunning. Since they could not find the best campsite to set up camp, Yunsheng and Lu Yunshuang chose to rest temporarily on a large tree that was more than 10 meters tall before the sky turned completely dark. The two of them sat cross-legged on the tree. The sky was filled with stars that looked like sparks of fire. All around them, there was only the sound of leaves rustling in the wind. Around midnight, there were hurried footsteps under the tree. There's someone here. Let's go down and take a look. Yunsheng and Lu Yunshuang looked around and saw a figure moving quickly toward them from the forest. It's Qin Yu. Yunsheng recognized the person at a glance. The two of them landed on the ground in an instant. Yunsheng, Lu Yunshuang, it's so good to meet you. Qin Yu, who had hurried over, was also shocked when the two of them suddenly appeared. When she saw that it was the two of them, especially when she saw Yunsheng, Qin Yu's eyes lit up. She changed her attitude of disgust and ridicule when she saw Yunsheng earlier and tugged on Yunsheng's sleeve eagerly. Huayan Luo and I were accidentally ambushed on the way and both of them were seriously injured. Yunsheng, you are a doctor. For the sake of Cangdu, you must have a way to save them. Qin Yu chattered endlessly with tears flashing in the corners of her eyes. She looked very pitiful. Yunsheng shook off Qin Yu's hand without batting an eyelid. The latter stood there awkwardly. Are you going to leave him to die? Yunsheng, don't forget that you were ordered by Lord Husher to escort us to Cangdu. Now that the three of us are in danger, you actually stand by and do nothing? Qin Yu gnashed her teeth. Yunsheng, what she said seems to be true. Lu Yunshuang also recalled that she had not seen the three Saintess candidates from Chengdu at the campsite just now. For the sake of Lady Hixi, I'll go and save them once. You'd better not play any tricks. Yun Sheng had never had a good impression of Qin Yu. This woman had always been like a little white flower in the beginning and tried to please everyone she met. After seeing that she had been chosen as the Saintess candidate of Plentiful City, she had mocked her many times. Would such a person risk her life to seek medical treatment for her teammates? It was good enough that she did not betray her teammates. Yun Sheng sneered inwardly. Even if she knew that there was a trap ahead, she still wanted to see what tricks Qin Yu was playing. The two of them are in the woodland not far ahead. Follow me. Qin Yu quickly led Yun Sheng and the others forward eagerly. This time let's see how you die. Qin Yu walked in front, the sadness on her face from before completely gone. Her eyes flashed with the smile of someone who had succeeded in her scheme. In front of them there was a shrub half the height of a person. Beside the shrub were two women lying on the ground. Judging from their figures they were indeed Feng Lian and Hua Yanluo. How are you? Lu Yunshuang reached out, wanting to touch them. Don't touch them. Yun Sheng's five senses were sharp. The moment she approached the shrub, she could already sense that the two women were no longer breathing. Unfortunately, Yun Sheng's words were too late. When Lu Yunshuang touched Hua Yanluo, who had gotten up early and was lying on the ground, raised her head abruptly. Her face was green and ferocious. Her eyes were white and the flesh all over her body had rotted away. Hua Yanluo raised her hand and grabbed Lu Yunshuang's hand with a cold gust of wind. Where her hand had touched Lu Yunshuang's almost snow-white arm, there was now a green handprint on it. Fiery explosion. A fireball rushed toward Hua Yanluo. The other party cried out in pain as her arm burst into flames. Ice seal. Only then did Lu Yunshuang realize that it was a trap. She hurriedly chanted, and half of her arm turned into ice, temporarily blocking the poison from Hua Yanluo's fingers. Her frozen arm had turned green. If Yun Sheng had not intervened in time, coupled with the effect of the ice seal, Lu Yunshuang would have been poisoned to death by now. Tisk, you're still alive after being poisoned by the rotting poison. You two are really lucky. Qin Yu stood together with Hua Yanluo and Feng Lian. Her beautiful eyes were filled with jealousy and hatred. Beside her, Hua Yanluo and Feng Lian had rotting flesh all over their faces like zombies. It looked like both of them had been dead for a long time and had become rotting corpses. Qin Yue, did you set them up and cause them to end up like this? Yun Sheng had long known that Qin Yu was not a good person, but she did not expect her to frame her companions like this. Don't put it so crudely. What do you mean by I set them up? They only have themselves to blame for being in this state. If they had been obedient and obeyed the orders of the feathery pink demons, they would not have ended up like this. Like the saintesses of the other capital cities, the three saintess candidates of Feng City acted together. The three of them were not lucky enough to reach the celestial fox camp where Hu Linglong and the others were at before dark. They had no choice but to take shelter in the dense forest for the time being. A few hours ago, a three-headed monster bird suddenly appeared. They transformed into three-headed monsters and called themselves the feathery pink demons. The three women were no match for them and were captured. The feathery pink demons interrogated them and found out that the three women knew Yun Sheng. The feathery pink demons threatened the three women to abduct Yun Sheng. However, Feng Lian and Hua Yanluo were unwilling, so the feathery pink demons turned the two women into rotting corpses. Qin Yu had always been afraid of death and she had a grudge against Yun Sheng. She immediately begged for mercy and was willing to search for Yun Sheng. That was why Qin Yu pretended to ask for help earlier. Yun Sheng was not from the Eight Desolates continent and did not know much about the feathery pink demons, but Lu Yunshuang knew them very well. The feathery pink demons? Qin Yu, you're actually colluding with the exiled traders of the 8 major tribes. Lu Yunshuang's expression changed slightly when she heard that. She looked around vigilantly. Ah, I can't believe that after so many years, there are still people who know the names of us three brothers. There was a burst of ghostly laughter. A bird flapped its wings and flew down from a tree nearby. It was a three-headed bird. The moment it landed, the three-headed bird transformed into a human. Chapter 1241. The three feathery rocks were originally ordinary clansmen from a village of the Feathery Rock tribe. The three brothers were born with 3 heads and their mother was frightened to death. The village chief and their father saw them as ominous creatures and abandoned them in a mass grave when they were still infants. Little did they know that the three brothers were not meant to die. They grew up in the mass grave by drinking the water of rotting corpses and eating their flesh. 13 years later, the three brothers returned to the village where they had been abandoned. They killed all the Feathery Rock clansmen in the village, including their own father. When the Feathery Rock tribe's chief learned of this, he ordered an elder of the tribe to lead 100 Feathery Rock warriors to arrest the three brothers. Little did they know that even the elder was killed by the three brothers. The three brothers became famous in that pursuit and became known as the Three Feathery Rocks. Not only that, but each of the three brothers learned 2 Feathery Rock legacies from the elder and the Feathery Rock warriors. The strength of the three demons increased greatly. The Feathery Rock tribe could not catch them alone. Left with no choice, the Feathery Rock tribe could only ask for help from the other 7 tribes. The chief of the Bahuang tribe signed a warrant to kill the 3 Feathery Rocks. The 3 demons were not tolerated by the mainland. They had no choice but to escape into the deep mountains and forests. From then on, the 3 Feathery Rocks disappeared from the Bahuang continent. Even the Feathery Rock tribe thought that the 3 demons were dead. Decades passed in the blink of an eye. The mainland gradually forgot about the evil reputation of the 3 brothers. If Lu Yunxuang had not heard about them from the older generation of the tribe, she probably would not have known about the evil reputation of the 3 demons. The 3 demons eat human and beast corpses all year round. Their bodies are different from ordinary people's and they are not afraid of ordinary attacks. When they take the form of birds, their beaks and saliva are extremely poisonous. Anyone who comes into contact with them will turn into rotting corpses. Lu Yunxuang looked worried. However, this was not the most frightening thing about the 3 demons. The most frightening thing about them was that each of them had 2 legacies. The 3 of them combined were equivalent to 6 Bahuang legacies. In terms of bloodlines, Yun Xing and Lu Yunxuang were 6-tailed and 5-tailed respectively. However, the total number of celestial fox inheritances they possessed was only 6. In addition to that, they also had Qinyu. Dealing with the 3 demons was indeed not an easy task. Since you know how powerful we 3 brothers are, I advise you to obediently surrender. You're Yun Xing? The 3 brothers cooed. The 3 heads with different hair colors looked at Yun Xing together. They looked at Yun Xing as if they were looking at a piece of delicious meat. Their target was her? Yun Xing didn't remember offending such an enemy. Sirs, let me stall that injured woman. Qinyu requested in a fawning manner. Now that Lu Yunxuang had been poisoned by the decaying poison, Qinyu could use this opportunity to avenge herself for being frozen. At that moment, Lu Yunxuang truly regretted not killing the traitor Qinyu during the duel at the inn. Leave the 3 demons to me. You be careful of Qinyu. Yun Xing and Lu Yunxuang did not hesitate. Both of them leaped several meters into the air and attacked in 2 different directions. An icy combat aura surged around Lu Yunxuang. Lu Yunxuang held the poison in one hand and waved her other hand. As the icy air approached, countless ice needles condensed in the air. Traitors should be punished by everyone. The ice needles scattered like flowers. Wind shield. This time, Qinyu was different from her usual self. She smiled sinisterly and suddenly waved her hand. A wind shield formed between her sleeves. There was a crackling sound as the wind shield collided with the ice needles. The ice needles all exploded. Your strength. Lu Yunxuang steadied herself. She had fought Qinyu before, so she knew her opponent's strength very well. Haha, you didn't expect this, did you? There's more to come. An unusual red glow appeared on Qinyu's face. She chanted, and another Qinyu formed beside her. I'd like to see how you can defeat 4 of my fists with just one hand. After summoning her clone, Qinyu became even more fearless. The Hua family's traceless fox? You devoured Feng Lian and Hua Yanluo's hearts? You're really crazy. Lu Yunxuang recognized it as Hua Yanluo's inheritance at a glance. There was only one possibility for Qinyu to achieve such a shocking breakthrough in strength in such a short period of time. She could use both Feng Lian's windshield and Hua Yanluo's traceless fox. Hua Yanluo had devoured their hearts. Lu Yunxuang looked at Hua Yanluo and Feng Lian. There was a fist-sized hole in each of their hearts. Unlike other Bakra orcs, the Celestial Fox tribe had a simple method of inheriting their inheritance: devouring hearts. However, this method was too cruel and bloody. It had always been regarded as a taboo in the Celestial Fox tribe. Who would have thought that not only would Qinyu betray her companions, but she would also do such a thing? Haha, so what if I devoured their hearts? After I kill you and the 3 of you kill that B***starred Yun Xing, I'll devour your hearts as well. Qinyu's expression was ferocious, and her eyes shone with a ghostly green light. That was right. After witnessing the 3 rock demons turn the 2 women into rotting corpses, she had an evil thought and begged the 3 demons to give her their hearts. The 3 rock demons were also crazy people. Seeing a delicate beauty like Jianghu devour the celestial fox's heart was a form of visual pleasure for them. As soon as Jianghu devoured their hearts, she realized that her strength had increased greatly. What was even more amazing was that after devouring the hearts of her fellow celestial fox tribe members, she also gained the inheritance that they were best at. Devouring celestial fox's hearts to increase her cultivation was like taking drugs. If it happened once, it would happen again. Jianghu's current targets were Lu Yunshuang and Yun Sheng. One of them was a 5-tailed celestial fox, while the other was a 6-tailed celestial fox. After devouring their hearts, Jianghu, would definitely become the most outstanding celestial fox saintess in the history of the celestial fox tribe. If you want to eat my heart, then come and try. Lu Yunshuang whistled and pointed her unpoisoned left hand at the sky. Within her body, icy cold air quickly gathered in the palm of her hand. Lu Yunshuang's hand transformed into an indestructible ice-rending claw. Ice Fox Energy Rending Slash. The white energy rending slash was like a long rainbow as it slashed down at one of Jianghu's clones. The clone was instantly frozen into an ice sculpture. Not only that, but all the vegetation within 100 meters of the house was also frozen solid. Under the dark night, it was a vast expanse of whiteness, giving off a desolate feeling. The 5-tailed ice fox was indeed worthy of being an extremely special branch of the Heavenly Fox clan. Even though one of its hands was injured, its battle power was still astonishing. Jianghu's expression changed abruptly. At this moment, Lu Yunshuang was like an ice goddess. The ice-rending claw in her hand slashed out gusts of biting cold wind. On the other side, the fierce battle between Yun Sheng and the 3 rock brothers had just begun. Chapter 1242. The battle on Yun Sheng's side was much more intense than that on the other side. Apart from fighting the 3 Peng brothers, she also had to deal with the 2 rotting celestial fox corpses, Hua Yanluo and Feng Lian. In order not to interfere with the battle on Lu Yunshuang's side, Yun Sheng quickly set up a magic isolation array around her. Who's behind this? Yun Sheng had no grudge against the 3 Peng demons, so it was most likely that someone was behind this. Haha, if you want to know the truth, you'll have to defeat these 2 rotting corpses first, the 3 demons hooted. Although they had been ordered to kill Yun Sheng, the 3 of them were notorious in their early years. They had even dared to kill an elder of the Peng tribe, let alone a celestial fox hybrid. In their opinion, Yun Sheng was not worthy of their attention. Feng Lian and Hua Yanluo were like 2 loyal guards, blocking Yun Sheng's path with a whoosh. Feng Lian was an expert in wind-type magic. Her body was surrounded by an oppressive power of the wind. The wind turned into scythe-shaped wind blades and charged toward Yun Sheng. The magic scepter in Yun Sheng's hand moved like a snake. With a few thuds, an earth wall rolled up from the ground and blocked the wind blades. On the other side, Hua Yanluo's eyes were blank as she chanted dryly. Her figure split into 2, one on the left and one on the right, closing in on Yun Sheng. The Hua Yanluo on the left pulled out a scimitar while the Hua Yanluo, on the right, brandished a long whip. Dark thorns break. Sharp thorns rose from the ground and pierced Hua Yanluo's body. After being stabbed, the rotting corpse paused for a moment before pouncing toward Yun Sheng again. Tisk, you're really difficult to deal with. Yun Sheng's lips curled into a cold smile. She spread her arms like a rock and soared several meters into the air. Improved Fiery Explosion, 9 Heavens Phoenix Explosion. Yun Sheng had only used this spell a limited number of times, but the effect was very different from the first time she used it. Although it was just an ordinary magic spell, after mixing with the powerful energy of the divine lotus fire, a fire phoenix descended from the 9 heavens and flew towards Feng Lian and Hua Yama. The scorching flames rushed towards the rotting corpses. The rotting corpses instantly exploded, turning into 2 puddles of putrid green liquid. The 3 of you have killed 2 of my companions. I will not let you off so easily. Yun Sheng looked at Hua Yanluo and Feng Lian's bodies that were smashed into pieces, her heart heavy. She didn't have much of a relationship with the 2 girls from Jianghu, but at least they had been on the same journey as her. They weren't fence-sitters like Jianghu. Seeing them end up like this, she couldn't help but feel a little empty. But when she thought of the characters of the 2 girls, she was afraid that they would rather die than become ugly rotting corpses. Yun Sheng felt relieved. This little girl is really something. No wonder the Great Witch Doctor asked the 3 of us to deal with her. Seeing Yun Xing kill Feng Lian and Hua Yen Luo in an instant, the three rock demons looked dignified. The rotting corpses were not afraid of knives, spears, water, or lightning, and had a certain resistance to ordinary fire, but they were completely devoured by the fire magic phoenix. The fire seed was extremely powerful. They thought that the celestial fox tribe had already declined, but they didn't expect a mixed-blood celestial fox to have such ability. But no matter how powerful she was, it was all empty talk in front of the three brothers. Rock inheritance, night invisibility. Rock inheritance, golden feather plume. Suddenly the three rock demons disappeared in the dark night. Yun Sheng's heart trembled slightly, and she became a little vigilant. The Bakra orcs evolved from the birds of the rock clan. Among their ancestors there was the night owl clan who were very good at hiding in the dark night. The three brothers suddenly disappeared and even their breath disappeared. Yun Sheng couldn't make a move for a while, and she was vigilant in the magic array. Whoosh, several gusts of wind brushed past her ears. Yun Sheng's ears moved slightly, and a feather appeared between her fingers. The feather was as sharp as a knife. Then behind her and in front of her, many feathers swept over. Wind wings speed up. Yun Sheng's figure moved, constantly casting defensive magic, but the feathers, which had no direction and no warning, burst out from all directions from time to time. It's really strange, these three demons are a little difficult to deal with. Yun Sheng clicked her tongue. In this situation, even if Yun Sheng summoned magic beasts, the attack wouldn't be very effective, and she was afraid that it would increase unnecessary casualties. The three rock brothers' attacks were strange, and she didn't know how many other rock inheritances were hidden in their bodies besides night invisibility. Whoosh, a feather brushed past her earlobe, and a green scar appeared on the side of her ear. The strong decaying poison quickly spread, and Yun Sheng immediately took out a bottle of life water and drank a mouthful. Under the effect of the life water, the scar slowly recovered its color. Hey, the potion in that woman's hand is very strange. The three demons didn't expect that Yun Sheng had hidden such amazing healing holy water. Yun Sheng carefully looked around. Although there was no way to determine the location of the three rock demons, one thing was certain, they were definitely still in the magic array. Rock demons, I have the life water in my hands, you can't kill me. Why don't we make a deal and you tell me who ordered you to do this? I will help you turn into normal people. Yun Sheng suddenly lowered her defenses and said loudly. The three rock demons were stunned. Turn into normal people, what did that mean? Ignore that woman, she wants to lure us into revealing our whereabouts. The leader of the three rock demons was very astute, and he reprimanded his two brothers to ignore Yun Sheng. The three demons and one mother had been in the same womb for many years, and even if they didn't speak, they could understand the thoughts of the three. The two demons didn't respond. Yun Sheng was not in a hurry and she chanted, and Xiao He appeared beside her. When Xiao He appeared, all the black fur on its body stood up like needles, and it barked a few times towards a certain direction in the darkness. It's the heavenly dog, its nose is very sensitive, could it have already discovered our whereabouts? The three rock demons saw Xiao He and couldn't help but feel a little flustered. After Yun Sheng summoned Xiao He, she didn't order it to attack and she patted Xiao He's neck. I summoned Xiao He not to become enemies with you. I just want to let you know that I can really help you. Xiao He was originally a two-headed dog, and I was the one who saved it. Yun Sheng gestured at Xiao He's neck. The three rock demons focused their gaze on Xiao He's neck, and upon closer inspection, there was indeed a scar on it. Because of the age, it was very difficult to see with the naked eye, but upon closer inspection, they noticed that Xiao He's head was different from a normal dog's, and its head was tilted to the left, so it wasn't hard to guess that it was indeed a two-headed dog. Even the great witch doctor couldn't save us three brothers? Can this woman do it? The three rock demons thought. Chapter 1243. The feathery ping demons were seen as a bad omen for the feathery ping tribe because of their deformed heads. For so many years, they had been hiding from one place to another like rats on the streets. Although they claimed that the three brothers would work together, in their hearts, they also longed to live like normal feathery ping tribe members. This time the three demons did not speak. They were obviously hesitating. Yun Sheng's eyes narrowed. Xiao He's sense of smell was very sensitive. She had probably locked onto the three demons' positions. The black eyes turned into a golden color, and a giant golden eye appeared in the sky. A voice appeared in the minds of the three demons. I'm here to help you. The three of you share a body. Not only do you have to endure inhumane treatment, but your body will also run out of nutrients over time, and your limbs will wither away. I believe you've already experienced this over the years. In the modern world, Yunsheng had seen all kinds of conjoined twins. Most of them died young and some even died in their infancy. The feathery Ping demons were able to live for decades not only because of the strength of their 8 Desolates bloodline, but also because they had taken some special medicine. Yunsheng's words were like 2 heavy hammers that struck the 3 demons' hearts. The 3 brothers had indeed had a hard time over the years. While evading the Bakra orcs, they also had to search for all kinds of spiritual herbs to sustain their lives. It was also because of this that they had no choice but to become the great shaman Celestial Fox's minions. They appeared to be obedient, but deep down they were unwilling to accept it. What should I do to get you to help me? The feathery Ping demons hesitated, but in the end they compromised with Yunsheng. It's very simple. Only one of the 3 of you can survive. Instead of surviving together, it's better to kill the other 2 without anyone noticing. One of you will live, become a normal person and live on. I swear in the name of Ancestor Celestial Fox that I will fulfill my promise. Yunsheng's voice was like a venomous snake, flicking its venomous tongue in the dark night. Outside the magic array, Lu Yunshuang and Qin Yu were engaged in a heated battle. Lu Yunshuang, you'd better beg for mercy. That lowly Celestial Fox is no match for the 3 demons. I'm afraid she's already a rotten corpse by now. You're next. Qin Yu chuckled dryly. Her eyes were bloodshot as she glanced at the magic formation. Qin Yu's expression changed slightly when she saw it. The magic array suddenly shattered and a person stumbled out of it. That person was not Yunsheng, whom Qin Yu had hoped for. Instead, it was the 3 Ping demons. The eyes of the 3 devils turned scarlet. They twisted and bit at each other fiercely. The Ping Feather 3 devils were born from the same mother. The 3 of them knew each other's weaknesses the best. Their bites were all aimed at each other's weak points. They were merciless. Blood and flesh splattered everywhere. He had bitten the other party's head until it was bleeding, but he still refused to let go. Yunsheng, and them? When Lu Yunshuang saw this, she abandoned Qin Yu and landed next to Yunsheng. She stared at the 3 Ping Feather 3 devils with an evasive expression. It's just a dogfight. I just caught their psychological illness and used some psychological tactics. The smell of rotting corpses grew stronger in the air. Yunsheng frowned in disgust. As a healer, psychological attacks such as sowing discord were sometimes more effective than magic and battle techniques. The 3 devils fought to the end. Only the eldest of the 3 Ping Feather 3 devils had one last breath left. They're all dead. Save me. He still refused to give up and begged Yunsheng for help. Yunsheng walked up to him and fed him a few mouthfuls of the elixir of life. Lu Yunshuang watched from the side. She saw Yunsheng take out a strange-looking knife and cut open the 2 devils' skulls. She then used acupuncture to stop the bleeding for the eldest Ping Feather 3 devils. Such serious injuries would be difficult for any healer on the mainland, even the great witch doctor of the Celestial Fox tribe, to treat them. However, Yunsheng did it smoothly and without any hesitation. Lu Yunshuang could not help but trust Yunsheng's medical skills a little more. The eldest Ping Feather 3 devils gradually regained consciousness. Only then did he realize that he had fallen into Yunsheng's trap. Second brother, third brother? The eldest Ping Feather 3 devils wailed. Don't pretend. To put it bluntly, my golden puppet eyes can only affect people with weak hearts. If you 3 brothers are really deeply in love, my golden puppet eyes will have no effect at all. I've done what I promised. It's time for you to fulfill your promise, Yunsheng said ruthlessly. The eldest Ping Feather 3 devils touched his wound. Without the heads of his second brother and third brother, his body had indeed become much lighter. He had become a normal person. I can't say. The eldest Ping Feather 3 devils' heart was palpitating. He felt a little regretful but also a little fearful. It was obvious that he was very wary of the background of the mastermind behind the scenes. Yunsheng seemed to have guessed the eldest Ping Feather 3 devils' reaction. She snapped her fingers. The eldest Ping Feather 3 devils only felt a very soft sound coming from his neck. Blood gushed out of the wound that had already stopped bleeding. Wait, help me stop the bleeding. I'll tell you everything. The eldest Ping Feather 3 devils covered the bleeding wound. He was so scared that his face was drained of color. Yunsheng did not say another word. She raised her palm and wiped an acupoint at the base of the eldest Ping Feather 3 devil's ear. The eldest Ping Feather 3 devils felt a needle-like pain in the base of his ear. The bleeding miraculously stopped. Yun Sheng would never save someone like the eldest Pink Feather Three Devils who would even harm his own brothers for the sake of profit if she was not completely confident. She had deliberately held back when she treated him just now. As expected, he wanted to go back on his word. The eldest Pink Feather Three Devils had already been thoroughly convinced by Yun Sheng after being startled like this. He did not dare to play any tricks. The great witch doctor of the Celestial Fox tribe ordered the three of us to kill you. Apart from you, she also said that apart from a Saintess candidate named Yu Shang, we've encountered other Saintess candidates along the way, so we'll deal with them as well. The eldest Pink Feather Three Devils had agreed readily, but who knew that it would bring disaster to the three brothers? The great witch doctor is in cahoots with Yu Shang? Lu Yunshuang's face was full of disbelief. That seems to be the case. It was probably the great witch doctor's idea to hold the combat examination in the 8 Desolate Mountain Range. Yun Sheng had heard of the great witch doctor's name a long time ago. She had initially thought that the great witch doctor of the Celestial Fox tribe would be a kind-hearted healer. She had even wanted to exchange pointers with her, but who would have thought? Including the 2 mysterious black talismans on Popping Sheep and Little Ying, this great witch doctor of the Celestial Fox tribe whom she had never met before had already offended her twice. No matter where the other party came from, she would take revenge tenfold for offending her. However, before that, Yun Sheng had to find out why Yu Shang was in cahoots with the great witch doctor. Chapter 1244. After Boss Peng finished speaking, he sneaked a glance at Yun Sheng's expression. To tell you the truth, miss, we made a very important discovery in the 8 Desolate Mountains. There's a sizable forest of inheritance pillars deep within the mountains. Boss Peng knew that he would not be able to escape death if the witch doctor found out that he had betrayed the witch doctor. So he decided to betray the witch doctor and seek refuge with Yun Sheng. In order to gain Yun Sheng's trust, he revealed the secret he had been hiding in the depths of his heart. Forest of Inheritance Pillars? What's that? Why haven't we heard of it when we entered the mountains? Yun Sheng and Lu Yunshuang looked surprised when they heard this. They had come to the 8 Desolate Mountains to search for inheritance pillars, but they had not seen any along the way. They did not expect to hear about inheritance pillars from Boss Peng. This information has not been announced to the public yet. It's a long story about the Forest of Inheritance Pillars. The three of us were hunted in the early years and have been hiding in the 8 Desolate Mountains. This mountain range is vast and boundless, but not long ago, we discovered a very large ancient seal. There were a large number of inheritance pillars in the seal. Boss Peng was afraid that Yun Sheng would not believe him, so he quickly described it vividly. The 3 Peng demons had been hunted down by the tribes of the 8 Desolate Mountains, especially a few high-ranking beast clans, who had been relentlessly pursuing them. The 3 brothers also learned that the 8 Desolate Mountains might contain powerful inheritance pillars left behind by the ancestors of the Peng tribe. So, over the years they had been searching for the inheritance pillars of the Peng tribe, and also working under the orders of the witch doctor. However, the inheritance pillars on the outskirts of the 8 Desolate Mountains had been extensively searched and excavated. The remaining inheritance pillars were either of inferior quality or had lost their power due to age. The 3 demons did not discover anything until 3 months ago. The 3 Peng demons found a map on the corpse of a passerby. The map showed that there was a suspicious seal in the core area of the 8 Desolate Mountains. It was said that the seal was deliberately left behind by the first batch of Bakra orcs when they first arrived in the 8 Desolate Lands to prevent their heritage from being lost. However, that seal was very strange. It was simply impossible for ordinary people to undo it. The 3 of us followed the map's guidance and arrived at the location of the seal. Furthermore, we entered that seal. When Boss Pengyu said this, he still had some lingering fear. After they broke into the seal, it was as if they were in a maze. In the end, they still failed to obtain the inheritance. Is there a Celestial Fox's inheritance pillar inside? Yun Sheng and Lu Yunshuang's interest was piqued. That seal contains the inheritance of all the major beast clans, so there must be the inheritance of Celestial Fox inside, Boss Pengyu said awkwardly. According to the map, only by finding the eye of the seal can the seal be broken, and the most powerful inheritance pillars can be seen again. With the abilities of us 3 brothers at the time, there was no way for us to find the location of the eye seal. With no other choice, the Feather Ping demons could only inform their old friends of their discovery. Originally, they wanted to use everyone's strength to break the seal. Who would have thought that those fellows would leak the news? Who did they leak it to? Yun Sheng pressed on, secretly despising the Feather Ping demons in her heart. These 3 feather ping demons were really stupid. The Forest of Inheritance Pillars was a great opportunity, and they had actually rashly leaked it. No wonder people said that 3 monks had nothing to eat. These 3 demons were the classic example of incompetent people who could only spoil things. Fortunately, the 3 demons had offended too many people and did not have many friends on the mainland. They only told the news to a member of the Beaming clan and a member of the Feather Peng clan. The 2 of them reported the news to their superiors. Now, the Beaming clan and the Feather Peng clan had sent people into the 8 desolate mountain range. As far as the 3 demons knew, there were hundreds of people on both sides, led by the elites of their respective clans. The Feather Peng demons knew that they were no match for them, so they could only hide outside. Just like that, the underground Forest of Inheritance Pillars was taken over. The Beaming clan and the Feather Peng clan each had hundreds of people. Yun Sheng and Lu Yunshuang frowned slightly. This news was not good. There were only the 2 of them, and the Celestial Fox Saintess candidates were eyeing them covetously. This was obviously not the time to fight head-on. Let's stop for a while. After daybreak we'll set off again and explore the location on the map. Yun Sheng decided for the time being. While they were reorganizing, Yun Sheng and Lu Yunshuang realized that Qinyu had disappeared. That woman must have escaped. When she saw you take care of the Feather Peng demons, she knew that she was no match for you. This woman's methods are vicious. She even ate the hearts of her own clansmen. I should have killed her long ago. Lu Yunshuang was a little regretful. It doesn't matter. She can't do anything by herself. What's more important now is to do as Boss Feather Peng said and think of a way to get close to the sealed area where the Forest of Inheritance Pillars is. Yun Sheng collected Hua Yanluo and Feng Lian's ashes. She decided to bring their ashes back to Qianlang after leaving the 8 desolate mountain range. Not long after daybreak, Yun Sheng and Lu Yunshuang walked toward the sealed area under Boss Feather Peng's lead. This night was unforgettable for most people in the 8 desolate mountain range. In the direction of the Celestial Fox camp, the Celestial Fox Saintess candidates were all panting. Even Hu Linglong, who had always been elegant and graceful, was now in a sorry state with many wounds on her body and face. The camp was surrounded by the severed limbs of demonic beasts. The Celestial Fox camp, which was located in an excellent location, was now like a battlefield. Most of the Celestial Fox Saintess candidates were injured. 2 of the Celestial Fox Saintess candidates died on the spot. After a night of fighting, Hu Linglong and Yu Shang were the only 2 who were completely unharmed. What the hell? Where did so many demonic beasts come from? Hu Linglong was furious and kicked the corpse of a saint-level fire-spotted wolf beside her. Their camp was clearly far away from the demonic beast gathering area. How did it attract so many demonic beasts all of a sudden? Last night, Hu Linglong was in a good mood after chasing away Yun Sheng and Lu Yunshuang. However, this good mood only lasted until the first half of the night. In the latter half of the night, she first heard the cries of eagles. Then, a group of 50 to 60 eagle-headed leopards appeared in the sky above the camp. The eagle-headed leopards were furious. It was as if the Celestial Fox Saintess candidates had dug up their ancestral graves. They attacked the camp in a frenzy. Due to the eagle-headed leopard's sudden appearance, one of the Celestial Fox Saintess candidates was caught in the air by the angered eagle-headed leopard queen and torn in half. However, just as Hu Linglong and Yu Shang organized their forces and killed the eagle-headed leopard queen and her subordinates, worse things happened. Chapter 1245. Worse was yet to come. The girls didn't even have time to catch their breaths. A pack of roaring firespot wolves rushed into the camp. They were like enraged Tyrannosaurus Rex as they spat out flames. The Celestial Fox camp was burned to ashes in no time. Before the first wave subsided, another wave rose. When the firespot wolves attacked, the soul-devouring iron-boned rabbits also attacked from behind like a tide. It was as if all the magical beasts in the 8 desolate mountain range were swarming towards the camp. We've been set up. Yu Shang hadn't slept a wink either, but her situation was clearly much better than Hu Linglong's. Yu Shang only used the corpse puppet technique and ghost eye to control many magical beasts. If it weren't for Yu Shang, the Celestial Fox camp would have suffered at least double their losses. Yu Shang wasn't Hu Linglong. When she controlled these magical beasts, she noticed that their emotions were abnormally violent. After killing a firespot wolf, Yu Shang took the opportunity to search its memories. She discovered that the reason these firespot wolves suddenly attacked the Celestial Fox camp in the middle of the night was because their wolf king's cub had been stolen half an hour ago. The scent of the Wolf King's cub came from the celestial fox camp. As for the soul-devouring iron-boned rabbits, the oldest iron-boned rabbit in their group had been killed. Its corpse was found in the direction of the celestial fox camp. The eagle-headed leopard queen that was killed earlier had a very obvious wound on its body. The assassin who ambushed it fled to our celestial fox camp. Yushang frowned. No wonder all the magical beasts in the 8 desolate mountain range were attacking the celestial fox camp. Clearly, someone had deliberately lured these demonic beasts here. Who dared to set us up like this? Hearing Yushang's words, Hu Linglong carefully examined the corpses of the magical beasts. Sure enough, she found many clues. In addition to the wounds inflicted by the celestial fox people, there were some wounds that weren't caused by them. I know who did it. It must be those two bitches Yun Sheng and Lu Yunshuang. Qin Yu walked towards the campsite. Seeing that the Peng Three Devils were not Yun Sheng's match, she knew in her heart that the situation was hopeless. She had seen Yun Sheng's means. She had caused the death of Hua Yanluo and Feng Lian. If she were to fall into the hands of Yun Sheng, she would suffer a fate worse than death. Therefore, Qin Yu sneaked away while Yun Sheng was taming the 3 Peng Devils. She had been lurking near the Celestial Fox's camp for a long time. She only came out after Yushang and Hu Linglong had cleared out all the magic beasts. It's you. If I remember correctly, you're from Tsangdu. You came here with Yun Sheng, that half-blood bitch. Hu Linglong cast a sidelong glance at Qin Yu with her usual condescending attitude. In her eyes, Qin Yu was also a half-blood bastard, no different from Yun Sheng. Lady Linglong, I'm different from her. I'm loyal to the Celestial Fox tribe and Lady Linglong. That woman Yun Sheng harbors evil intentions. She killed Hua Yanluo and Feng Lian on the way here. She also wanted to kill me. I risked my life to escape. When Qin Yu heard this, a vicious glint flashed across her eyes, but her expression did not change. Yun Sheng killed 2 Celestial Fox Saintess candidates? As soon as she said this, the remaining Celestial Fox Saintess candidates in the Celestial Fox's camp were all in an uproar. Not only did she kill them, but she also planned to go deep into the 8 desolate mountain range with the Peng Three Devils. It said that they found a forest of inheritance pillars there. In order to gain the trust of Hu Linglong and the others, Qin Yu gritted her teeth and revealed the information she had unintentionally heard from the Peng Three Devils. Is what you said true? A forest of inheritance pillars was found deep in the 8 desolate mountain range? A forest of inheritance pillars? It was actually a forest of inheritance pillars? After hearing this news, even Yushang, who was the best at concealing her feelings, could not help but reveal a joyful expression. The forest of inheritance pillars was not an ordinary inheritance. It was a special inheritance treasure ground formed by gathering the inheritance pillars of Bakra orcs together on a large scale. After entering the forest of inheritance pillars, one had to awaken the inheritance pillars with the bloodline of the 8 desolate beasts. Only by successfully awakening the pillars could one obtain the inheritance. However, at the same time, Hu Linglong and Yushang realized that it would not be easy for them to enter the forest of inheritance pillars. Qin Yu also said that Yun Sheng and the others were not the only ones who knew about the forest of inheritance pillars. There were already people from the Beaming tribe and the Peng tribe guarding outside the forest of inheritance pillars. These 2 8 desolate beast clans were not some pushover. After they learned of the news of the inheritance pillar forest, the ones they sent over were all elites. After the battle last night, there were less than 10 of them left. How could they fight against the elites of the Beaming tribe and the Peng tribe with such a manpower? Not to mention that bitch Yun Sheng had colluded with the 3 Peng demons. When she heard the name of the 3 Peng demons, Yushang's expression changed slightly. Hu Linglong did not know, but she knew very well that the 3 Peng demons were pawns sent by the Great Witch Doctor into the 8 desolate mountain range to secretly assassinate Yun Sheng. How had Yun Sheng not only not been killed overnight, but she had also formed an alliance with the 3 Peng demons? What method had that woman used? Miss Linglong, I would like to discuss something with you. You and I might have had some misunderstandings before, but the current situation is very unfavorable for us. That bitch Celestial Fox colluded with outsiders to murder her own people. Right now, we should put aside our past enmity and eliminate the traitor first. Then, we can enter the ancient seal together and seize the forest of inheritance pillars. Yushang's beautiful eyes turned as she took the initiative to express her goodwill. Hu Linglong sized up Yushang, weighing her strength in her heart. She thought to herself, this woman is very cunning. She clearly wants to work with me to deal with that Yun girl. But if I don't work with her, with Yushang's temper, she might turn the tables and work with Yun Sheng to deal with me together. Miss Linglong, we can actually work together. You also know that Lu Yunshuang and Yunxing are in cahoots. Given their strength, neither of us is completely confident that we can defeat them if we fight them alone. However, if we join forces and enter the Inheritance Pillar Forest together, we will have a fair competition. Yushang smiled. Her words made Hu Linglong very tempted. Humph, you're stronger than me. Even if we enter the Forest of Inheritance Pillars, your chances of winning are much higher than mine. Hu Linglong had secretly observed Yushang last night. This woman was ruthless and merciless when killing monsters. She was much more skillful than Hu Linglong. Haha, Miss Linglong. We don't lie in front of the real person. I know that you're really interested in Green, the young clan leader of the Nine Phoenix clan. I promise you that whether or not I become the Saintess of Celestial Fox in the end, I'll help you obtain him. With that, Yushang walked to Hu Linglong's ear and whispered a few words in a voice that only the two of them could hear. After a few words, Hu Linglong's expression changed slightly. A look of joy appeared on her face. Chapter 1246. In the eyes of the other Celestial Fox candidates, they didn't know what Yushang had said to Hu Linglong, but Hu Linglong's expression changed after hearing it. Sister Yushang, if it's really as you say, then I'll treat you like a real sister. I'll give you the title of Celestial Fox Saintess. She changed her attitude of rejecting Yushang and happily took her hand. Real sister? Haha, others might not know how you treat your cousin Yushang, but do you think I don't know? He's just a brat from the Nine Phoenix tribe. Why would I care about him? In this world the only real man is Yishio. Yushang appeared affectionate on the surface, but her heart was full of disdain. Hu Linglong on the other hand thought, if you want to be the Celestial Fox Saintess, then I'll let you be. That lousy Saintess isn't worth anything. Hu Linglong was born in the Celestial Fox tribe, so she knew everything about the Celestial Fox tribe. After the Celestial Fox tribe migrated to the Eight Desolates continent, most of the tribe leaders were men, so the status of men and women was very unequal. Although the Celestial Fox Saintesses were known as the Four Poles of Celestial Fox in name, along with the Celestial Fox people, the Council of Elders, and the Great Shaman Doctor, they had been restricted by the other three over the years and had no real power to speak of. This had become very serious when Hu Sheng became the Saintess. The power of the Celestial Fox Saintess had been taken away. Hu Linglong had always strived to become the Saintess of the Heavenly Fox tribe. Other than satisfying her father Hu Qiansui and her own vanity, there was also a very important reason. It was because she had heard about the marriage agreement between the Heavenly Fox tribe and the Nine Yuan tribe. Since Yushang wasn't interested in marrying Lu, she wouldn't be her competitor. Hu Linglong thought that as long as she became the wife of the Nine Phoenix tribe's young master, she would definitely become the wife of the Nine Phoenix tribe's patriarch in the future. The Nine Phoenix tribe was a superior beast tribe. Compared to the Celestial Fox tribe, it was like heaven and earth. The two women each had their own ulterior motives, but on the surface, they were happy and harmonious. Qin Yu felt uneasy when she saw the two women mocking each other for a moment and then acting as close as sisters. Your name is Qin Yu? You've done us a great service by telling us about the Inheritance Forest. Later you will follow us into the Eight Desolate Mountain Range. You'd better behave yourself along the way. If you have any bad intentions, I'll take your life. Yushang looked askance at Qin Yu. When her gaze landed on Qin Yu's chest, she shot her a cold glance. Qin Yu had the illusion that she had been seen through at a glance. Her heart was beating very fast. This jade garment of Yudu was indeed not simple. Even when he was facing the three rocks, he had never had such a feeling. The Saintess candidates in the Celestial Fox camp reorganized themselves. Around noon, Qin Yu led them into the depths of the mountain range. In the depths of the Eight Desolate Mountain Range, the forest was much more sparse than the forest outside. Ever since the three rocks found out about the Inheritance Forest, this area had been occupied by the people of the Beaming tribe and the Peng tribe who had rushed over. Before they reached the ancient seal, they heard a series of curses on the mountain path. Silver Rock, don't be unreasonable. We, the Beaming tribe, found this place first. A 2-meter-tall Beaming woman blocked the entrance of the mountain path like a small mountain. Among the Bakra orcs, the Beaming tribe belonged to the bloodline of giants. They were also the only tribe that looked the most similar to humans in appearance. However, the people of the Beaming tribe were generally much taller than humans. The women were 1.8 meters tall and the men were 1.9 meters tall. Among the Beaming tribe they were considered short. The 2-meter-tall Beaming giant blocking the mountain path was Rita, one of the descendants of the 8 Desolate Mountain Range who had been to the Duqian Blood Beast sector. Behind Rita, there were 300 to 400 beaming warriors standing in a row. They were all holding long spears and staring at the sky angrily. In the sky there were also 300 to 400 Peng warriors. They had all transformed into rocks. The leader was a silver rock. That rock had sharp eyes and silver hook-like claws. Rita, this ancient seal was found by the people of the Peng tribe first. You only arrived half a day earlier than us. How can you say that you found it first? That silver rock was the young master of the Peng tribe, Silver Rock. Half a month ago, he had heard from his tribe that the ancient seal had been found in the 8 Desolate Mountain Range. Therefore he had led the warriors of his tribe to the 8 Desolate Mountain Range. However, he didn't expect the beaming tribe to be first. Neither tribe was willing to let the other enter the seal first. Thus there was a stalemate here. Bah, Silver Rock, the 3 Peng devils have already been chased out of your tribe. How can you call yourself a member of the Peng tribe? If you have the ability, come down from the sky. Let's fight for 300 rounds. Whoever wins will enter the seal first. Rita scolded angrily. This crazy woman. Only an idiot would fight with her. On land, the beaming tribe's strength was second only to the elephant tribe. Silver Rock's heart was palpitating. The beaming tribe's strength was astonishing. Furthermore, their physical bodies were very strong. He had heard that Rita had already fused with a part of the beaming king's Sarira. Her strength was already astonishing. If they were to fight on land, wouldn't he be smashed into a meat patty by Rita? Naturally, Silver Rock wasn't willing to come down and compete with Rita. Thus, Rita's words flew out one after another. She said, "Are you a man or not? Are you missing a part?" As the young master of the tribe, Silver Rock had never been so sullen before. "Rita, you ugly woman. No wonder Purple would hide every time he sees you. An ugly woman from the Middle Orc tribe dares to admire the young master of the Upper Orc tribe. You are simply a toad lusting after a swan's meat." Silver Rock was so angry that he flapped his wings and sneered. Among the descendants of the Beaming tribe, Rita from the Beaming tribe had a crush on Purple from the D tribe. Hu Linglong from the Celestial Fox people had a crush on Green. These matters were known to all the descendants of the Beaming tribe. Hu Linglong was beautiful. She had a crush on Green, which attracted the envy of the other descendants of the Bakra orcs. Rita from the Beaming tribe was different. She was taller than the average Bakra orcs. Her skin was thick and dark. Most importantly, her nose was like a wild boar's. Such an ugly woman, of all people, had a crush on Purple from the D tribe. The D tribe was similar to the Celestial Fox tribe. They were rich and beautiful men. Moreover, the status of the D tribe was much higher than the Celestial Fox tribe. The D tribe was the upper orc tribe among the Bakra orcs. Rita's matter had always been a joke among the descendants of the Beaming tribe. After Silver Rock's joke, the rock warriors behind him also let out ear-piercing laughter. To Rita and the other warriors of the Beaming tribe, their laughter was very sarcastic. There will be more updates today. Please give me all kinds of votes. Chapter 1247. The Silver Rock was also fearless. Among the 8 Wastelands beast clans, the Beaming clan was the strongest. However, they had a weakness. Because their bodies were too heavy, the Beaming clan was the only beast clan that couldn't fly. This greatly limited their combat ability. Silver Rock and the rest dared to provoke Rita again and again because of this reason. So what if they angered this ugly woman to death? She could not fly into the sky. Pigs could never climb trees. Rita hated it when people used Purple to mock her. Her face was red and her shoulders were trembling because of the atmosphere. Suddenly, 2 purple golden hammers appeared in her hands and she smashed them together. The power of the 2 purple golden hammers was not to be underestimated. When the hammers collided with each other, there was a dazzling purple fighting aura around them. They were like shooting stars and their speed was shocking. Warriors, back off. Silver Rock laughed, but he did not dare to underestimate Rita. He could tell that the purple golden hammers were not to be underestimated. The purple golden hammers made a weird sound in the air. The weird sound was like thunder. Suddenly, a few purple golden lightning bolts appeared in the sky. Several streaks of lightning struck a few feathery Peng race's warriors, striking 3 or 4 of them to the ground. They fell from the sky and smashed into smithereens, unable to resist at all. Rita had killed 3 to 4 winged Peng warriors without even attacking. Silver Rock was shocked by Rita's ferocity. He stared at the two purple golden hammers in Rita's hands as if he had seen a ghost. God's Fury Hammer. Rita, you actually obtained the first Behemoth King's divine weapon. God's Fury Hammer? Silver Rock had heard that the first Behemoth King was a legendary warrior with shocking strength. It was said that he had single-handedly killed over 1,000 human warriors. He had a pair of godly hammers. Its power was comparable to the 8 barren divine weapons in the Boundless Land. It could fuse the power of lightning and combat techniques together. That's right. When I was in the 8 barren blood beast world, not only did I find the Behemoth King's Sarira, I also found the God's Fury Hammer. Rita looked like a careless person, but she was actually very meticulous. In the blood beast world, she found a chance to enter the Behemoth King's tomb. In the King's tomb, she coincidentally obtained the God's Fury. At that time she did not leak the news. After returning to the Behemoth tribe, he learned how to control God's wrath with the help of the elders in the tribe. She originally wanted to use the God's wrath to show off her skills in the clan competition. It would be best if she could use this to let the Beaming clan take a step forward in this Bahuang clan competition. It would be best if they could become an upper beast clan. Rita believed that there was no way to change her appearance. If she could improve her strength, perhaps Z would see her in a different light or even look at her a few more times. After using God's wrath, she felt some regret. She had been too reckless and exposed God's fury too early. She was afraid that the other tribes would soon find out. So the ugly woman Rita has actually received the wrath of God. You've really impressed me. There was a burst of laughter that made people's ears itch. Under the lead of Hu Linglong, a few candidates for the Saintess of the Celestial Fox tribe walked over. When she saw Hu Linglong, Rita's eyes were filled with disgust. She gripped the God's Fury even tighter. The warriors of the Peng tribe also looked over. When Yin Peng saw Yu Shang walking together with Hu Linglong, a look of amazement flashed across his eyes. When did such an enchanting beauty appear in the Celestial Fox tribe? Hu Linglong, what are you doing here? This is my Behemoth tribe's territory. Get out. Rita said fiercely. Oh Rita, why are you so angry? Speaking of which, we were once good friends. Hu Linglong chuckled. Looking at Rita and Hu Linglong now, it was hard to imagine that the two of them were bosom buddies in their childhood. As the daughter of the leader of the Bakra orcs, Rita was sent to the beast god altar to receive baptism and education at a very young age. Because of her appearance, Rita had always been bullied by the descendants of the other beasts. However, Hu Linglong was very close to her. Rita thought that Hu Linglong was a good person. However, after Rita told Hu Linglong that she liked purple, the news spread out not long after. Purple was even colder to Rita. Rita was heartbroken. However, one day she overheard Hu Linglong talking to the other descendants of the Bakra orcs. She said that she wanted to be friends with Rita because Rita was ugly. Rita still remembered what Hu Linglong said at that time. She is so tall and strong. She is also ugly. If I walked in front of her, wouldn't she be able to set off my graceful figure and outstanding appearance? As the saying goes, a red flower needs a green leaf. Rita is that rotten leaf. When Rita heard this, she wanted to rush in and negotiate with Hu Linglong. However, she was mocked and beaten up by the descendants of the Bakra orcs. Since then, Rita and Hu Linglong had completely turned against each other. Hu Linglong stared at the God's Fury in Rita's hand with jealousy. This ugly woman was actually so lucky. Not only did she obtain the Behemoth King's relic, she even obtained the weapon of the first Behemoth King. On the other hand, she couldn't even enter the tomb of the Celestial Fox. God was really blind. Rita, what are you talking about? Since when did the Bakra mountain range become the backyard of the Behemoth tribe? The Bakra mountain range belongs to the entire Bakra continent. Any tribe of beasts can enter the mountain range. Hu Linglong had a sharp tongue. She was jealous that Rita had obtained the God's Fury. Therefore she kept provoking Rita with her words. If I say no, it means no. Or does the Celestial Fox tribe want to fight with the warriors of the Behemoth tribe? Rita glared at Hu Linglong. Oh, is that really the case? What do you think, young clan leader? Yu Shang smiled and walked forward. Her blue and green eyes only needed to look at Silver Rock's face. Silver Rock felt his mind sway. He didn't know where he was anymore. Young clan leader Silver Rock, I am Yu Shang. I would like to cooperate with the Wing Peng tribe. In his daze, he seemed to hear Yu Shang's voice in his ear. Rita, who do you think you are? This ancient seal clearly belongs to the Winged Peng tribe. These ladies from the Celestial Fox tribe are honored guests that I have invited. They are clearly from the Winged Peng tribe. Silver Rock had been blinded by lust. He didn't know that he had already been affected by Yu Shang's corpse puppet technique. He thought of Yu Shang and the others as his own people. Just as he was feeling disoriented, he suddenly felt a chill on his back. Before he could turn around, he felt a sharp pain on his back. He screamed and fell from the sky. Chapter 1248. Quick, save the young clan leader. The winged rock warriors were shocked when they saw the young clan leader suddenly fall from the sky. They quickly swarmed forward and rescued the silver rock young clan leader. They looked behind their young clan head and saw that there was an arrow stuck in his back. Who dares to attack the young clan leader? The winged rock warriors were furious. Idiots, I'm clearly the savior of your young clan leader. If I hadn't been faster with that arrow, your young clan leader would have been controlled by the Celestial Fox tribe's corpse puppet technique. He wouldn't even recognize his ancestors anymore. A disdainful female voice came from behind. Two beautiful women and an unfamiliar middle-aged man strolled over. The two women were naturally Yun Sheng and Lu Yunshuang. As for the middle-aged man, he was the leader of the three winged rock demons whose life had been saved by Yun Sheng. Yun Sheng was worried that the leader winged rock would encounter the winged rock tribe and start another conflict, so she simply asked him to disguise himself. Now was not the time to expose the leader winged rock's identity. Without his three deformed heads, the leader winged rock deliberately disguised himself as a hunter. He looked like a completely different person. Even Qin Yu could not recognize the leader winged rock for a moment, let alone the winged rock tribe. It's you. Yu Shang was furious. Just now, she had almost taken control of the young clan leader of the winged rock tribe. Yun Sheng's arrow had destroyed her corpse puppet technique. When Rita saw Yun Sheng and Lu Yunshuang's outstanding appearances, she was displeased. What was going on? Why did all the women of the Celestial Fox tribe come to the 8 Desolate Mountain Range? Could it be that the Celestial Fox tribe had also received news that there was an inheritance pillar forest here? That was impossible. They had clearly sealed off the news. How dare you stab me in the back? Capture her. Silver Rock was in a sorry state. He vented his anger on Yun Sheng and the others. Young clan leader, you saw clearly that I shot the arrow to save you. If I really wanted to hurt you, why would I need to use the arrow? Yun Sheng said unhurriedly. As soon as Yun Sheng finished speaking, the Silver Rock young clan leader hurriedly ordered someone to take out the arrow wound on his back. Just as Yun Sheng said, the arrowhead of the arrow had been broken. This woman had actually used only the arrow shaft to shoot the young clan leader. Furthermore, the arrow shaft had penetrated 2 inches deep into his flesh. The Peng race's warriors all looked at each other in dismay. Yin Peng was not seriously injured, but his face was even more gloomy. He was actually scared half to death by an arrow without an arrowhead. If this were to spread out, wouldn't he lose all his face? Humph, what a useless man. His legs go soft when he sees a woman. If old Patriarch Peng Yu were to see you like this, he would be so angry that he would vomit blood. Rita sneered. Yun Sheng's words changed Rita's impression of her slightly. Although that arrow had broken the corpse puppet technique in name, it had also helped Rita vent her anger. Rita looked at Yun Sheng again. When she saw Yun Sheng's face clearly, she could not help but ask curiously, "You are Hu Sheng?" Hu Sheng had gone missing a long time ago. Moreover, Hu Sheng was so weak that he could not even truss up a chicken. She was not Hu Sheng. Rita, Hu Linglong, He Lin Lin, and Hu Sheng were the few women among the descendants of the Octoterra beasts, so they were quite familiar with each other. She's not Hu Sheng. She's an imposter. This woman colluded with the Peng demons and killed the Celestial Fox Saintess candidate. She has ulterior motives and is a serious criminal of the Celestial Fox tribe. I was just about to look for her when she came knocking on my door. Hu Linglong was furious when she saw Yun Sheng. She and the other Celestial Fox Saintess candidates surrounded Yun Sheng and Lu Yunshuang without any explanation. The Peng demons? Where are the 3 great demons? When the Silver Rock and the Peng warriors heard this, they were all on guard. The Peng demons were also serious criminals who supported the Feather tribe. Hu Linglong, you have to show evidence before you speak. Which eye of yours saw us colluding with the Peng demons? Where are the 3 of them? We just met this big brother hunter who hunts in the Octoterra Mountains all year round. He said that there was a strange seal here, so we rushed over. Or do you think that this big brother is the Peng demons? Yun Sheng did not blush nor did her heart race. She had already guessed that Qin Yu would cause trouble after escaping. However, she did not expect this woman to confuse right and wrong and push all the blame onto them. Everyone looked at them again. Apart from the middle-aged man dressed as a hunter, there was only Lu Yunxuang. No matter how they looked at it, that middle-aged man did not look like the Peng demons. The beast tribes of the Octiterra Mountains naturally did not expect that Yun Sheng could use the miraculous modern medical skills and the elixir of life to change the face of the Peng demons in such a short time. Qin Yu killed Hua Yanluo and Feng Lian. She also violated the Celestial Fox tribe's taboo by devouring their hearts. If we're talking about serious criminals, she's the real serious one. Lu Yunxuang, who had been silent all this while, stared coldly at Qin Yu. Devouring their hearts? As soon as she said this, the expressions of the people of the Celestial Fox tribe changed drastically. Devouring hearts and forcibly absorbing a person's cultivation base and inheritance was a taboo in the Celestial Fox tribe. In terms of crimes, the crime of devouring hearts was even more serious than murder. Lady Linglong, Miss Yu Shang, you must believe me. I didn't do that. It was clearly Yun Sheng and Lu Yunxuang who killed Hua Yanluo and Feng Lian. I escaped. They framed me to clear their names. Qin Yu's face was pale and her body trembled violently. She put on a pitiful look. Yu Shang and Hu Linglong hesitated. If Yun Sheng had said those words alone, they might not have believed her, but Lu Yunxuang had said it. Lu Yunxuang was born a pure ice fox. In the Celestial Fox tribe, her status and bloodline were also very noble. She was cold and straightforward, never meddling in other people's business. It was even more impossible for her to make false accusations. Enough. There's no proof. The dead tell no tales and there's no way to find the Peng demons. The three of you are guilty. We'll make a decision after we return to the Celestial Fox tribe. After a discussion between Yu Shang and Hu Linglong, they decided not to pursue any responsibility for the time being. The two women also had their own considerations. The ancient seal was right in front of them. The Beaming tribe and the Peng tribe had a large number of people. Instead of wasting their time on who the real culprit was, they might as well go back and pursue the matter. After all, they did not know how dangerous the situation inside the ancient seal was. The Peng demons who had entered the ancient seal were nowhere to be found. Perhaps they would not have the chance to come out after entering the seal. Qin Yu, don't celebrate too early. After we leave the 8 desolate mountain range, I'll be the first to come after you. Lu Yunxuang snorted. Hu Linglong, are you saying that the Celestial Fox tribe also wants to enter the ancient seal? Silver Rock and Rita asked at the same time. Chapter 1249. The Behemoth tribe and the Winged Rock tribe discovered the ancient seal almost at the same time. The two clans were glad that no other beast clans had discovered the ancient seal. The Behemoth and Pengyu clans were both middle-ranked beast clans. The strength of the two clans was about the same. If they really wanted to compare, they would be evenly matched at most. However, the sudden appearance of the Celestial Fox tribe displeased both the Behemoth tribe and the Winged Rock tribe. After all, the more forces that entered, the more fights there would be. Silver Rock and Rita were at a stalemate. They did not enter the ancient seal. Their strength was on par with each other, and neither was willing to enter the ancient seal first. It was common knowledge that the Celestial Fox tribe was the weakest of the Bakra orcs. These women were only candidates for the Celestial Fox Saintess. What right did they have to be on equal footing with the legitimate heirs of the Bakra orcs to split the ancient seal? Hu Linglong did not have much confidence in facing Rita and Silver Rock. She did not reply immediately. That's right. The ancient seal is an ownerless object. Anyone who sees it has a share. Since the Celestial Fox tribe is one of the Bakra orcs, they naturally have the right to enter the ancient seal. Yun Sheng took a step forward when she saw the situation. If you want to enter, you'll have to get past me first. However, this young master was injured just now. I will send our feathery Peng race's warriors to fight with you. Silver Peng was shot by Yun Sheng's arrow. His face was gloomy and he wanted Yun Sheng to suffer more. A man walked out from behind him as soon as he finished speaking. The man had a strong physique and a large bald head. His eyes were as sharp as blades. He looked heroic and intimidating with a cold glint in his eyes. Lu Yunxuang's body had just been purged of the decaying poison, so she was still rather weak. As for Boss Rock tribe, he would easily expose his identity if he fought. Therefore Yun Sheng was the only one who could fight this battle. This man should be a powerful fighter from the Night Owl tribe. Most of the warriors from this tribe have inherited their eyes. Later, pay attention to his eyes. Boss Feather Rock said in a low voice. Yun Sheng nodded. She walked out and the Winged Rock warrior cupped his fists. I am Xiao Yun. Please enlighten me. As he spoke, a crack suddenly appeared on Xiao Yun's bald forehead. The crack grew larger and larger, and in the end, it directly transformed into a jade-colored eye. What is this? Yun Xing hesitated for a moment. However, during a competition there was no room for distraction. Yun Xing immediately focused her attention and fought with all her might. Boom! Dark thorns sprouted from the ground one after another, and intense dark magic power gushed out from the ground. What a fast magic chant! The Behemoth race and Winged Rock race's clansmen were all shocked. They didn't even see Yun Xing finish her incantation before Dark Thorns was completed. Although Xiao Yun was also surprised by Yun Xing's magic incantation, he cleverly avoided the attack and remained unharmed. He was actually able to dodge her magic attack. Yun Xing's eyes darkened. She waved the magic scepter in her hand, and the magic wings behind her flapped lightly. She nimbly floated in midair. A few soul stones on her magic scepter shone. In an instant, red, green, blue and yellow magic attacks of various colors turned into streaks of light. Fire explosion, wind blade, water arrow, earth spike, and all sorts of other attacks emerged one after another. Your magic power is very pure. It's a pity that you have met me, Xiao Yun. Xiao Yun's body quickly flew into the air. His body moved like a graceful swan, and he actually dodged all of Yun Xing's attacks. It's useless. Xiao Yun's third eye is something that even I can't do anything about. On the other side, the Winged Rock race's clansmen secretly thought that Xiao Yun was forcing Yun Xing to retreat. They all cheered. Yun Xing's eyes narrowed slightly as she stared at Xiao Yun. She saw that the green eye on his forehead emitted a faint green light when he dodged her attacks. A hint of caution flashed past her eyes. Xiao Yun's strange body movements made Yun Xing feel that he could predict the point of attack of each of her magic attacks. It seemed that Boss Rock was right. The inheritance of the Night Owl race was very special. If this continued, she would be exhausted because of the depletion of her magic power before the outcome of the battle could be determined. Yun Xing stopped her magic attacks. Her eyes gradually turned golden. As if he could predict what kind of attack Yun Xing was going to launch, Xiao Yun suddenly covered his eyes. His figure teleported and he appeared behind Yun Xing. Suddenly, a golden light burst out from Yun Xing's magic scepter. The golden light was so strong that everyone present couldn't help but close their eyes. The strong light made them feel a slight burning pain in their eyes. Light-based magic, earth illumination, could cause an instant blinding effect. This was the first light-based magic that Yun Xing had comprehended recently. Incredible. In addition to being proficient in the 4 elements of magic, this girl is also proficient in light-based magic. Xiao Yun dodged quickly and blocked Yun Xing's light-based magic at the right time. But just as he was about to attack Yun Xing from behind, Yun Xing, who was still in front of him, suddenly disappeared. An ice-cold magic scepter was pressed against his neck. If you don't want to be beheaded, surrender. Yun Xing stood behind Xiao Yun. This time she was one step faster than Xiao Yun. How is that possible? I've clearly predicted your next move with the Eye of the Owl. How can you still do it? Xiao Yun didn't expect that he would be intercepted by Yun Xing. He was also a top expert in the rock race, so this time he was chosen to follow them into the 8 desolate mountain range. Who would have thought that he would be defeated by a delicate celestial fox girl? In this world, you're not the only one who can predict each other's movements. I have an inheritance that is not inferior to yours. Yun Xing smiled faintly. Only then did Xiao Yun see that Yun Xing's eyes were golden. Yun Xing's Shin-Nong pupil and Xiao Yun's Eye of the Owl were somewhat similar. But compared to Xiao Yun, Yun Xing's Shin-Nong pupil was a little better in the final battle. Xiao Yun was predicting her movements, but he didn't know that Yun Xing had already predicted his next move with the Shin-Nong pupil. Her light-based magic was just a smokescreen. Xiao Yun sighed and stepped aside. There's always someone better than you, Xiao Yun said. Young Master Silver Rock, now we should be able to enter the ancient seal, right? Yun Xing smiled. Useless thing, you can't even deal with a woman. Silver Rock's face was as black as the bottom of a pot. He glared fiercely at Xiao Yun and waved his hand reluctantly. The rock warriors behind him could only retreat. The latter could only lower his head and remain silent. Failure meant that he had lost his position in the race. Thank you very much. Yun Xing looked at Xiao Yun with some sympathy. This person was a man who could afford to lose. It was a pity that he had such a temperamental young master. The future of the rock race was really worrying. Chapter 1250. Seeing that Yun Sheng had defeated Xiao Yun, Lu Yunshuang and the Rock Feather Boss breathed a sigh of relief. By the side, Hu Linglong and the others were also beaming with joy this time. Although Yun Sheng was a mixed blood, she was still a member of the Celestial Fox tribe. Her victory meant that they could also successfully enter the Ancient Seal. Yun Sheng, you've done well this time. However, your faults outweigh your merits. You're still a sinner. Why don't you step aside? I'll represent the Heavenly Fox tribe to negotiate the remaining matters. Hu Linglong quickly stepped forward. Who are you? Do we know each other that well? Yun Sheng glanced at Hu Linglong. Negotiating on behalf of the Celestial Fox tribe? This woman was really thick-skinned. She had such integrity. Where was she when the Rock Feather tribe stopped the Celestial Fox tribe from entering the Ancient Seal? What do you mean by that? I have the highest status here and my status is the most honorable. It's perfectly normal for me to represent everyone. Hu Linglong's face was red with anger as she glared at Yun Sheng. I'm sorry, Hu Linglong. Are you too stupid or is there something wrong with your brain? Have you forgotten something? Last night, who was the one who chased Yun Shuang and me out of the Celestial Fox camp on the grounds of majority rule? Yun Sheng questioned Hu Linglong aggressively. Hu Linglong was speechless. You have to take responsibility for your actions. Last night you chased the two of us out. In other words, everything that we've done since last night has nothing to do with you. My victory only means that Yun Shuang, this Uncle Hunter, and I can enter the Ancient Seal. As for whether you want to enter, you'll have to rely on your own abilities. Yun Sheng spread her hands. She was not a saint. Hu Linglong and the others had chased them out so quickly last night that they wanted to reap without sowing. If she agreed, she would not be Yun Sheng. Linglong, don't argue with her. That woman is cunning. She knew that she wasn't a match for young clan leader Peng, so she framed me for using the corpse puppet technique. I don't know what method she used to defeat the Peng clan's warriors, Yu Shang said, looking at Yin Peng. When Yin Peng heard this, his anger from losing the competition immediately dissipated a little. He felt even more strongly that Yun Sheng had deliberately hurt him in the dark. Yu Shang was indeed not simple. Even in such a situation, she did not forget to rope in Yin Peng. Yun Sheng snorted and ignored Yu Shang's provocation. That's right. If we want to enter the Ancient Seal, we have to rely on our own abilities. If the Wing Ping race loses, we will let you in. However, my Beaming clan didn't agree to let you coquettish foxes in. Hu Linglong, if you guys want to enter the Ancient Seal to join in the fun, you'll have to get past me first. Who's fighting? Hu Linglong or you? Rita walked out. Hu Linglong looked hesitant. If she were to really compete with Rita, her original abilities should be similar. However, it was different now. Rita had the fury of God. Hu Linglong didn't want to get into a conflict with Rita. Otherwise, if this woman went crazy and smashed her beautiful face into pieces, it wouldn't be worth it. Yuda Yu Shang, representing the Celestial Fox tribe, will compete with this lady from the Beaming clan. However, this lady has a powerful weapon, so Yu Shang doesn't dare to force her way in. Yu Shang has a small request. My competition with young clan leader Rita will be decided in one move. After Yu Shang said this, she didn't forget to look at Yin Peng as if asking for help. Sure enough, the Silver Rock Junior clan leader felt his bones go soft. Rita, you're considered a famous expert. How can you make things difficult for a weak lady? This competition is not fair at all. Yin Peng, are you blind or kicked in the head by a mule? If you want to feel sorry for her, come and compete with me yourself. If I don't cripple you with one strike of my hammer, my name isn't Rita. Rita was annoyed. Men were indeed animals who only looked at appearances. How was this woman called Yu Shang weak? Rita had grown up and knew that women who looked harmless were actually all hiding daggers in their smiles. As a woman, Rita could already feel that Yu Shang's vibe was much stronger than Hu Linglong's. However, Yu Shang's words had some effect. At least, the Peng clan and the Celestial Fox people looked at Rita as if she had bullied Yu Shang. This made Rita very angry. The women of the Celestial Fox tribe are indeed cunning. If I don't agree, others will say that I won with an unfair advantage. So be it, I agree to compete with you in one move. If you can remain undefeated after one move, you win. Rita retracted her god's fury and patted her chest with a heroic look on her face. TSK, she still fell for it. Yun Sheng shook her head as she watched from the side. Yu Shang was a cunning and sinister woman. Her origin was mysterious and she was a six-tailed celestial fox. Moreover, the inheritance she had was evil. Last time, during the written exam at the Celestial Fox Shrine, Yun Sheng had almost fallen for her trick. Rita of the Beaming clan might look crude, but she was a straightforward person. If she agreed to Yu Shang's suggestion, she would definitely be at a disadvantage later. Unfortunately, Yun Sheng was only a spectator and couldn't interfere with the competition. Rita and Yu Shang agreed to compete in one move. Rita drew a circle on the spot. Later you will stand in this circle. I will make one move. If you are still in the circle after one move, you win, Rita said. Alright, it's a deal. Young matriarch Rita, please enlighten me. Yu Shang walked into the circle with a smile on her face. Rita walked to a spot a foot away from the circle. Her ugly face revealed a grave expression. A thick fighting aura was gathering in her body. Rita's fighting aura was very special. After it was gathered, the fighting aura spun rapidly around her like a spiral. As more and more combat aura gathered, Rita's 2-meter-tall, meat mountain-like body was completely surrounded by the combat aura that was spinning at a high speed. Her entire body began to spin like a top. Is this woman planning to use Rita's peerless strike? Yin Peng was shocked by Rita's posture. The Beaming clan had astonishing strength, and Rita's strength was one of the best among the Beaming clan. She had an inheritance that she had awakened called Rita's peerless strike. That strike was truly earth-shattering. Rita seemed to be letting Yu Shang go, but in reality she had set up a double insurance. Rita's fighting aura was compressed to the extreme, and her entire body turned into a flaming wheel. Whoosh! With shocking speed, Rita attacked Yu Shang with lightning speed. On the ground, where Rita's cableway was, the ground was quickly drilled into a ditch. Yu Shang's blue-green eyes shone brightly. Thank you for your tickets and tips. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.